You know what does sell?
Is it what sells?
Bookstore owners with large assets.
I didn't see you there.
Mark Crombo Weebs. My name is Cole. His name is Mike. His name is Jay. We like anime, and this is episode 128 of AniPro. And on this week's episode, we are doing our mid-season check-in. And we decided that the three of us are incapable of doing this on our own. We need help. Truly.
There's just too many shows to talk about.
There's too many shows, too little time, and our smooth brains are incapable. So we wanted to bring in the wrinkliest brain we could possibly think. We went out on a mystical journey to seek our help for this week. From the Treehouse Anime Club. Dave, hello. Welcome to AniPro.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Today?
Glad to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. We got the double cicadas going, so I've got the 13 or whatever the 17 years are, and then you got the regular cicadas. It is
Are you in
loud.
that ring of cicadas or whatever, like the zero zone where there's a billion cicadas everywhere?
I don't think I'm in the zero zone, but it is pretty loud. Like, I'm not having cicadas on my back porch or anything, but it's like a constant drone all day.
Man,
it's like you're an Evangelion.
I was going to say, you're like living in an Evangelion episode. Yeah.
That's awesome.
He is Shinji Ikari.
He is Shinji Ikari. Is that an insult though? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's say you're
taking it on the chin.
Who's someone cool from even?
Gendo.
Yeah. Okay. Gendo's really cool. You don't want to be Gendo either.
I don't know. Gendo's pretty cool. Have you seen his contemplation face with the?
He's got cool glasses.
Yeah.
Blazer. Wears gloves all the time. That's cool.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
Yeah. No. You know what? Yeah. Let's say you're Gendo.
But also, Shinji's robot's pretty cool. He should get in that sometime.
There you go.
No. He should.
No.
He should save the world sometime.
No. Every time he gets in the robot, something bad happens. And you know what? Don't get in that robot, Shinji. Don't get in that robot. Dave, thank you again for coming on. I think what we should do is maybe kind of introduce you to our lovely listeners.
Yeah, let's get to know Dave together.
Let's get to know Dave together. Dave, what got you into anime? What got you here on episode 128 of AniPro?
Well, it's a rather long journey, but it all begins with a humble little movie called Kiki's Delivery Service.
Oh, a fellow Ghibli man. I like it.
Mm-hmm. So I did grow up a 90s kid. So of course I had the Saturday morning cartoons leading into this. So like your Zoids, your Metabots, Shaman King, but I was big into Beyblade, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh was my big show, Digimon. Also, I love the Power Rangers. So like all that little coalesced into like, I really like these cartoons on top of all like the Dexter's Laboratory, Fairly Odd Parents, SpongeBob, just everything, all of that.
Dave's just describing my childhood.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So only caveat was I didn't have like a TV in my room or anything like that. So like the one TV was like in the living room. So whatever I was going to be watching, my parents would be privy to as well. So they were pretty... They were pretty okay with like Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, but something like Batman the Animated Series, I was just too young for my mom to be comfortable with me watching Batman. But Yu-Gi-Oh and Shaman King was apparently fine.
I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh is much, much worse than Batman could ever be.
No,
some episodes, sure, but then like Batman gets pretty dark. Like there's some episodes of Batman, I was like, how is this TV YA?
Yeah, I think that Yu-Gi-Oh had the privilege, I will put in quotation marks, of being heavily censored by 4Kids, whereas Batman just went in guns a-blazing.
Yeah,
and literally got to do whatever it wanted.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I stand Batman the Animated Series. That's such a great show.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing series.
Did you like sneak out and like watch it when they weren't paying attention? Is that, or were you a good boy?
Mostly good boy. Of course, like whatever I watched at my friend's house was completely fair game. So if Batman or like Ed, and Eddie was on, like any of the cartoons that were kind of like frowned upon, I was always like, "Can we watch this?"
It's making me so happy that these shows transitioned down to the States too. I thought you never know what's like Canadian and what's not. So yeah. I'm very happy right now. Sorry, Cole, I cut you off.
No, I was just going to say that was like me with The Simpsons, but I wasn't. My mom didn't like me watching The Simpsons. She didn't like how Bart treated Homer, which
no.
What?
I mean, but then I'd go to my dad's and my dad would be like, "Yeah, let's watch The Simpsons. It's funny.
Treat me like Homer, son."
That's really funny.
My dad was
watch South Park.
Oh well, South Park was an obvious no.
Yeah.
My dad really wasn't a Simpsons watcher either. That wasn't. I don't think it was really like a content thing. I think like they just didn't like the Simpsons, like just personally. Yeah. So I'd never. It's not like that. I barely even knew that the Simpsons existed. So it was one of those. Yeah, it was on the TV, but there's in terms of me growing up during this time. Like, yeah, I had these cartoons, but I was also in the middle of the woods, like just in the middle of nowhere. So most of my time was like spent outside. So a lot of my TV was like Disney movies during the whole like Renaissance era, just all of that, plus these cartoons. But really, most of it was also just reading and being outside. So this is just, I'm kind of summarizing a lot here.
Well, for sure.
Well, good to know you. Good to know you know how to read. You've got that one up on me. So that's... congratulations.
A lot of books.
Making me look bad.
Cole's got these are all behind him.
These are all for show. All for show. Yeah.
He's told me in the past that he buys manga just for the collector's aspect of it, not to actually read them.
It's true. It's true. I unapologetically.
Those spines line up real good.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, look at how good Goodnight Poon Poon looks. Doesn't that look great?
Exactly.
Look at that. Beautiful. So Dave, we also tasked you with giving us a list, like a top five.
Top 5? Okay.
10?
I can do a top 10. Sure. Let's get crazy.
We start with 5.
Let's start with 5 and then we'll go with what didn't make the list.
Let's do this. Dave, you're in our Discord, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to join our Discord and hear Dave's top 10, then he will post his top 10 in our Discord.
Jay, wow, look at this guy. He's just plugging the Discord.
So go join our Discord. Link should be in the description down below. If Cole doesn't start the mailbag, then I can do this plug. And we can you can go check out Dave's full top 10 list over there.
Why would you accuse me of starting the mailbag? I would never do that.
Yep.
So, Dave, one thing Cole does every week is he'll trick me and Jay into talking as he plays the drop for the mailbag. He gets off on it a little bit.
Yeah.
There's also a hidden caveat that I can't hear the drops.
Yeah, Jay also can't hear them until like they're already playing. So it's truly very fortunate. But yes, please give us your list.
I did have well, I can continue the story after the list because there's like a little bit more of like, because I didn't talk about how I got into.
If you have more to say, then
yeah, because it was the anime specific side was flash forward a couple of years and it was Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that was the first time of like I'm like 12 years old, and then when it ended I was like 15, and so like okay, I remember these cartoons from that I mentioned earlier. It's like, where can I see more? And I just happened to have some really cool friends in high school who were into anime. And they said, here's where we can find this stuff. So they introduced me to Full Metal Alchemist. So that was like my first one that I watched that I knew was anime. Like I'm sitting down like, this is Full Metal Alchemist. This is anime. Let's check it out.
Like the original Full Metal Alchemist, the 2001
one?
Yes,
the original run. So by the time I finished watching the original run, Brotherhood had just started airing. And so I was able to watch that later on like Adult Swim / they actually put the whole thing up on Netflix a couple of years after that. So
there you go
for Brotherhood.
I've never.
That's
seen
where I
the
first
original
watched
one. I've only
it too.
seen. Yeah, I've only saw. That was what got me into it too. Kind of was Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good first anime.
It was Full Metal Alchemist. Clanad was next because that was really big at the time, and again, After Story was airing as well.
Yeah,
and then
also you're like an OG. You've been around for a while.
Yeah, the first one that really got me, like I loved Full Metal Alchemist. Like the ending was so with the original ending, but even with this next one, like the first one that really grabbed me was Soul Eater. So that's a 2000. That's also like a late 2000 show. That was like, okay, now I'm in.
Yeah, that one was huge back in the day.
Yeah, I love Soul Eater. So, speaking of Soul Eater, it's not in my top 10, unfortunately. It is it's very close, but as far as my top 5, I actually have some props here.
Okay. We do like props on the podcast, so
we do like
props. This message.
So I wanted to give so I'm a bit of an anime collector. I've been collecting since about 2013, seriously since 2013. So I have all of my discs here. So I kind of showed off the first one. So number 5 is Death Parade.
Death Parade.
You anyone seen Death Parade?
Excellent taste.
I don't know if it's mirrored, if it's going to be mirrored on here or not.
It looks
but Death Parade.
Yeah.
I love Death Parade. It's one of I watched it early on, so I feel like I need to rewatch it at some point here. I don't know if Jay or Cole have ever watched it though.
No, I remember when you watched it, Mike, and you would not stop talking about it.
Still don't.
No, it deserves all that praise.
I watched it a long time ago. I thought it was really good. It probably didn't have the same effect on me that it did for the two of you, but I still think it's a really good show.
Yeah, it's pretty. I don't know anyone who's watching it and being like, that was a terrible time. And it's got like one of the greatest OPs too. It
does have a good OP. Yeah. That I think is a universally, you know what, Mike? Cold take. That's a cold take from Mike.
I wasn't going for a hot take with that one. Well, sometimes, you know what? You just got to say vanilla ice cream's good. You know? It's not an exciting thing to say.
Water's wet.
Water's wet.
Sometimes you have to say, you know what? Braulio is pretty bitchin'. They're pretty good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. No, I haven't seen it, but it's definitely on the list. Like that one, and like Death Note would be another one. I haven't seen Death Note.
It's interesting that you bring up Death Note too, because Light actually makes an appearance in Death Parade.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So he makes a cameo. Yeah, I forgot about. I keep forgetting he does that, but yeah, it's he makes a cameo.
I'm surprised Cole didn't know that. Yeah. I thought that was what linked it in your brain there.
No, it's so like weird. Well, I mean, they both start with death. It's like Nana being in
Golden Time.
Golden Time. No, not Golden Time.
It's not like they.
No, Golden Time.
Nana,
sorry.
I don't think she was. She was in Golden Time.
Yeah.
It was just a cameo.
In it. Yeah. The
just
Nana
like a little background cameo.
Yeah. I think her band is in it, and she meets Bonnery for like a couple seconds.
Anyway,
okay.
This has been Cole with things that randomly connect in his brain. Thank you.
Yeah, the neurons are connected in very mysterious ways.
It's an enigma.
Yep, Death Parade is a very affecting series, and it's one I just love it because of the style, and it's one of those shows that the more I think about it, I've always find something more to appreciate. It's just one of those. It's kind of just grows in my brain like a little brain worm here. But I also just like these kinds of shows, so like the drama. But also, speaking of Yutaka Izubuchi, Mob Psycho is number 4.
Hell yeah!
just all of Mob Psycho, and
hell yeah, brother.
I'm here for that one. Yeah.
Cole, go off, King.
I mean, Mob is great. Honestly, I'm one of those people who thinks like it gets better. Like each season is better than the last one.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, without question.
Yeah. Like the first season, a lot of people watch the first season. They're like, meh.
I think like a lot of it is, and I know that because I came off that same wave. I watched it expecting like One Punch Man, but again, and it wasn't that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think that's what a lot of people were responding with, being like, it's all right. But then when season 2 came out, it kind of became its own thing, and it wasn't in the shadow of One Punch Man.
Yeah.
So people kind of responded more positively toward it.
Yeah.
I feel like too, the first season maybe didn't really know what it was doing yet. Like it didn't have the vision wasn't quite there maybe. And then by like second season, you kind of see what's happening and it kind of pulls you in. That's at least how I kind of feel about it.
Maybe. I think a lot of it is like what Jay said. I think a lot of people were expecting like pure comedy, like One Punch Man, but it's like completely different. Yeah.
At the time, when it was coming out, it was like, oh, it's by the same creator of One Punch Man. This is going to be great. And it was a very, very different thing. Like it still had the same style that one likes, but it wasn't a pure comedy or a pure satire on like a certain genre.
Yeah.
It's more of a
pairing,
more of a mood. Now,
go ahead, Dave.
You go ahead. Okay. Yeah, it's more of a. I find it to be more of like an emotional show than One Punch Man, and it's one that I found I really connected to the characters more in Mob Psycho, or I should say, I really connected to Reigen, because I mean, Reigen Arataka is like dad of the year, like dad of the century. So I mean, just the whole relationship, and just but especially how all the characters change and grow through the 3 seasons. And I just kind of look back, and for a lot of shows on my list that I consider like the best, or my favorites, I should say, usually I have to think about it for a year or two before I really give it like any strong consideration for, is it in the favorites? But for something like Mob Psycho, and even more recently Apothecary Diaries and Free Rent, I was like, okay, yes, this is just that good. It doesn't matter how long or short you've been watching or how long you've been a fan. That's just quality is quality.
Yeah. You just feel it. You feel it in your bones.
You just know it in your bones.
Feel it in your studio bones.
Oh, goodbye.
Oh! No, Cole's leaving.
Cole's gone. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, why is he? I don't know why he's leaving.
We got him.
Where's he going now? Oh.
He's back. He bumped his mic. Not Mike, his mic.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
Yeah, I needed that. What's next on the list?
Number 3?
Yep. Number 3. I reversed the covers because I like the inside cover better. Number 3 is Black Lagoon.
Ooh.
So
tasteful.
Is it?
Mommy.
I have no idea.
Is that Revy? Like just simply for Revy?
Yes, there's a lot of she's on the oh, there we go. So that's Revy. So a little bit of a woo.
That is a nice cover on that one.
It's a great cover. The actual cover is more of let's see. She's still here it is. Prime YouTube content. So that's the front cover for like the classics collection. I was like, no. I need the money shot. I need
the Daisy Dukes. You need the booty shorts.
I need the Daisy Dukes. Yeah. Also, I don't like the classics label thing. It's kind of
I don't like when they do that either.
It's obnoxious. Yeah,
it's like when Nintendo used to do their selects or whatever and have the little stamp on it, or PlayStation hits or whatever.
Yeah, greatest hits. Mike, have you seen this one? I know Jay has, so I just want to know if you have.
I have not. It's been on my plan to watch for a billion years. And it's one of those ones that I just kind of like know I will like when I do watch it.
Yeah.
It just seems like it'd be up my alley.
Oh, it seems like it'd be up my alley too.
Yeah, because she'd step on you.
She's not the only one. Yeah. Black Lagoon is just like, what if Quentin Tarantino directed an anime is kind of what the buzzword was. And it's got all that, but it's also got some great character work. Right about the time you start rooting for the characters, and it's like, oh wait, they're criminals. Like they do like something really nasty. And like this, it's also just a beautifully animated show. This is like Madhouse at its 2000s peak. So this is like Death Note time. This is Black Lagoon time. Like it is like some of their best work. It still looks better than not 90%. It looks better than a lot of anime coming out today.
Dave, you could not be selling this anime more to me. I need to watch this immediately, I think. So I love Madhouse. I've realized I love Madhouse. I love Quentin Tarantino.
If you like Kill Bill,
morally gray. I love Kill Bill. Like I need to watch this yesterday.
This has everything, and it's like maids with chain guns. I mean, what else do you need? You gotta.
Oh, sweet! Like I was going to compare it to Akiba Maid War, but that feels a little bit like sacrilegious a little bit because it's.
Akiba Maid War's it's got a lot of Black Lagoon DNA in it. If you like that kind of violence, then that is exactly what you're going to get with Black Lagoon. Not as much of a parody as Akiba Maid War is,
right?
But yeah, it's that level of violence at least.
Yeah, I need to watch this one, guys.
You do. So
the manga is also really good, for what it's worth.
Getting a new arc.
Yeah, I mean, it's been on hiatus. It goes on and off hiatus a lot because of the manga.
So it's like a true hiatus then, because like usually when I hear hiatus, I'm like, oh, it's done, but they just won't end it.
Yeah,
but if they're actually coming off hiatus, it's a real hiatus.
Yeah.
Right here, where he kept going like, I'm burning out, so I'm just gonna drop the manga. Then there was like a hiatus of 4 years because he was in a rights battle with Sunday, Gaku and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was like, I'm gonna drop it so I can make it big with Recreators.
Recreators was fine. It was fine. No? Okay.
Oh. No, that one's not in the
We can get up on that one later. Yeah. No. I think he's done drawing the Thirst Trap art for the Black Lagoon mobile game. So there's a lot of sensually drawn characters on that. So yeah, moving on. Number 2 is not a surprise. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I mean, obviously.
Yeah.
Vanilla ice cream's a good flavor. Full Metal Alchemist is a good anime.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the goat.
Today's top story.
Yeah. No, like what do you? It's incredible. Like, what else do you say about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have no other elaboration to add.
Yeah.
No, what could you add to it? Like, it's got everything.
It's got political intrigue. It's got great, well-written characters. I love a female mangaka as well, too. It's written by a female mangaka.
It's got a guy with a metal arm.
Yeah. Magic.
I mean, it's got magical powers.
It's got cool fights, well-animated fight scenes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good
truly, some of the best character writing just in the past 20 years. Like, it's just amazing. Yeah. Everything is it's the kind of stuff that you can build an entire class of. Here's how you write a compelling story. This is how you master manga right here. Full Metal Alchemist.
I feel like the other thing that kind of like sets it apart too is that like in this day and age, if something is like universally praised, it brings the haters out of the woodwork. They scramble to it like little ants to a picnic. But like, despite all that, it's still rated like number 1 on lots of stuff. You know, like that's just a statement of how truly great it is.
Honestly, the other thing too is like a lot of shows have haters. If somebody came to me and was like, this show's kind of overrated, it's kind of mid, I would kind of maybe second guess that person's opinion a little bit. Like, this is one where it's inarguably good, at least.
Yeah,
at the very least.
It's good.
Yeah. Even if you don't like it, or you're like some of the humor, I'm not short or whatever. Like some of the humor, hit or miss, like elements. But I mean, like on the whole, it's just it's one of the best to ever do it, and that's just what you're going to have in a medium. It's a classic of the medium, and it's any kind of cinema person can list off like some of the greatest movies of all time. You got your literature buffs, anime buffs. Just Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the best of all time. That's just me. So
just spitting facts. Yeah. You've watched both the original and Brotherhood?
Yes.
Now here's the question: which do you prefer? And I feel like you might have already spoiled this by putting this one here and not the other. But
well, I also don't own the OG Full Metal Alchemist, but no, I do prefer Brotherhood. There are some things that if I look back at the original Full Metal when they went some like the original direction, there's some things like with the homunculi and some things like, okay, that was an interesting thing to do, or like some of the homunculi just weren't written yet, so they just made up with some of the other sins. But here's the thing. Full Metal Alchemist ends with Conqueror of Shambhala. That's it. That's the whole no. That movie is god awful.
Oh, okay.
And Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood's its biggest sin is just having Sacred Star of Milos. Whatever. It's also not that great, but it's a side story. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
No, the canon ending to FMA original series is Conqueror of Shambhala, because you can't have that kind of story.
Yeah,
it just dropped the ball completely. So that's why Brotherhood is my pick.
That's my favorite movie. So I don't appreciate you.
Shut up, Cole.
You have terrible taste.
I've never even seen it. I don't even know.
I don't know. I didn't even know it was a movie until just 2 seconds ago.
No.
Yeah, there's a canon sequel movie to the original Full Metal Alchemist, because, spoiler, Ed travels to real life Germany at the end of Full Metal Alchemist original. Because apparently human transmutation opens a dimension. Yeah.
Checks out.
So it's
classic 2000 early 2000s anime, just being weird.
Yeah.
Edward reverse isekais himself into our world, and so Conqueror of Shambhala is, actually Edward doesn't want to go back to and be with Windbreaker or be with anybody from his world. He'd rather stay in real world Germany and in the late 1920s.
Nice.
And assist with need I go further?
Go. Oh no.
So yes, Conqueror of Shambhala is not a good movie.
Ooh.
So that was a bad tangent. So
I think
we'll try and bring it back.
Yeah.
So number one.
Let's go to number one.
Number one, please.
Number one.
Just Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
Cole's back.
Yes.
Just all of Ghost in the Shell through standalone complex. So I got a actually, well, if you're a fan of Ghost in the Shell, let me do some YouTube real quick and step away for a second.
Yeah. You guys know I love me my Ghost in the Shell.
Yes.
I've been trying to get Mike to watch Standalone Complex. I think he would genuinely enjoy Standalone Complex, Mike.
Is it like less cyberpunky and like dry?
It's less dry for sure.
Okay.
Standalone Complex is a bit more accessible. Oh, beautiful.
I don't know what I'm looking at.
The second
season. It's second season. So picked it up at FYE when that was still around, and it was it's a beat up box, but yeah, that's a whole second season to Ghost in the Shell standalone complex.
Nice.
Hey,
I love it.
That looks expensive. That looks like an expensive. Anime DVDs are so expensive. It's crazy.
Yeah. The only Ghost in the Shell stuff I have is the movie. And I do have the manga, actually. I've got all 3.
This might stun you,
I've just got I've just got that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've just got that one. I don't have the other ones.
The weird thing with that is that it's actually you read it left to right.
Yeah, they mirrored
it throws me off every time that happens. Same thing with like Akira.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this one. No, I'm reading it. It goes. No, this was still right to left.
I think they've got both. I think they do have both.
Well,
they've
got
maybe an earlier edition, but yeah, Ghost in the Shell.
Earlier days of manga, they would flip them because that way you can just read it normally and you didn't have to. But then they decided, we're gonna flip them and have it be.
We flip them. Let's unflip them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or you can be like that one manga by the creator of Rosario to Vampire and just still be left to right.
Yeah. Blade of the Immortal, I think, is still like that too, where like the creator's like, no, I'd prefer you mirror it. It's like, what?
I don't know. Yeah. I have nothing to add to this.
No.
Anyway, I've read books.
Ghost in the Shell. Let's bring it back. Back.
Yeah.
Let's gush.
Yeah.
It's just I've always been a fan, like myself, I've always been a big fantasy and then a science fiction buff. Mm-hmm. And so like Blade Runner, everything from there, Dune, Isaac Asimov, just iRobot, and then, I am blanking, 2001 A Space Odyssey, like stuff like that. I love like this hard science fiction stuff. And so Ghost in the Shell is a series that kind of introduced me to cyberpunk. And introduced my love of cyberpunk, and I just love just how dense it is. There, especially the standalone complex specifically, is just it's a police procedural, and it's very episodic, but also just a really great through line. And it's one of those, like, it's almost to me, in my mind, it's almost like the perfect series for no matter what you want. You want a continuous story, great. You want individual episodes, there you go.
Yeah, Mike. You want a good dub? Standalone complex.
Excellent dub. Amazing dub. Some of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah. I might actually prefer the dub over the sub. Yeah. Now, Dave, key question though. Did you watch the Netflix 3D animation standalone complex?
Oh,
Unfortunately, yes. The first season, there's nothing exciting about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than
what's exciting,
the OP and the
is
ED for both of them are pretty good. I like it.
I'll give you that one, but I mean, no, it's you've got the original guys, but he's since then Kenji Kamiyama and you've got Sola Digital Arts, and they're like, we're cutting edge 3D animation, and they can barely animate. It's some of the stiffest animation I've ever seen. It looks like straight out of Source Filmmaker.
It's really goofy looking.
That's an insult to Source Filmmaker. I wish it was, and I wish I could say the story was good, but it's a facsimile of standalone complex. Like to me, Ghost in the Shell is one of those. I really enjoy it both for like what it was in like the 80s, like Masamune Shiro's original vision. I love the original comic. I love the movies. I love standalone complex and how they interpreted that world. Then you get Arise, which tried to do its own thing, and it was like it was okay. But then Arise, the best that it could do was just ape standalone complex at the end of it. And then you had Hollywood and Scarlett Johansson. Bless her heart, she tried, but she was working with a terrible script.
I was going to bring up the Hollywood one because it was
visually
fine, but stuff. But it was,
I've never. It's that rare thing where the Hollywood movie had so much potential, and I've just never seen. Well, I've seen examples of wasted potential before, but it was just a classic thing of Hollywood just not getting it.
Yeah, I feel like it honestly, like Ghost in the Shell could work as a Hollywood movie. It really could.
It should. It really could. It's just they decided we're going to make an entire movie of nothing but homages, and by the time we have an original storyline, it's just corporation evil.
Yeah,
and it's just
how original.
It's just cobbled together.
Yeah.
So standalone complex 2045 is also just it's not good.
The classic Hollywood suits
do it.
Wanting to make a quick buck off of a property, but not knowing what to do with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, great picks, Dave. Especially your number one. Excellent pick. Let's talk about this season though. Let's talk about the anime that have come out this season. So Dave, we do a draft at the start of every season. It's kind of our thing. It's our shtick. But we'll discuss that in the second half, the shows that we drafted. But maybe in the first half, what we can do is we can talk about some of the shows that we didn't draft. I know there were some shows like that. Sequels, shows that weren't eligible to be drafted. Or honestly, I'm kind of high on this season. I think this season's been really good.
I kind of agree.
Yeah. But Dave, is there any shows? We showed you our draft list, right?
Yeah, I sent it in the chat as well.
Yeah, you clicked it in the chat. I have it on. I have my own little notes document, so I pasted it there as well.
So organized.
I think I've got 3, and then a fourth one is from the previous season.
Okay.
If it's still airing, it counts.
Yeah.
Still airing. Yeah, it's still airing. It's count. It was just a continuous core.
Okay.
So I didn't know if you guys wanted to start off, or if you just wanted me to do like the top of my list.
Yeah, just one you're watching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's actually, you know what? Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's start with the shows that are continuing from the previous season.
Okay.
So Dave,
that sounds good.
We'll let you start it off then.
So my one continuing show, I believe, that I'm watching right now is Delicious in Dungeon.
Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent pick.
Are you enjoying this one? Because I'm. You know what? I'll let you go, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on this one.
Sensing some zest.
Well, I've had some thoughts about Delicious in Dungeon as well. I was not the biggest fan of it starting out. First 6 episodes was like, I get the concept. It was a show that like I've heard about the manga for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of these other anime just started randomly putting cooking stuff in their series. So it's like, that's Delicious in Dungeon's influence. So it's weird. It's an adaptation that I'm like, why is this getting adapted now? But that aside, it just felt like, I don't know. There's the whole mission of we got to rescue the sister, but then no, we're going to spend an entire episode, cooking a basilisk or something like.
Mm-hmm.
But you got your sister. You got to go get and then it would just be like the tone swings of like we would have this chill cooking thing, and then all of a sudden there'd just be sudden outrageous violence, and we're back to cooking. And it was just it took me a while to get with it, but once they actually got going and there was a consistent forward momentum with the mission. Right, then I was okay with more like the breaks in the cooking segments. And now, generally speaking, like my top level thoughts on season 2, the threat's more nebulous. So there's not as much of they're still trying to figure out their things. So I think now that we have more people, we have a wider range. There's a lot more that we know about the dungeon, like the function. We know why other people are after it. Just because of all the building blocks are out of the way, I think I feel better about it now than I did at the start. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to next episodes, but it's still, I haven't forgotten.
Yeah. I agree with what you said, Dave. I think it started out, if it would have continued what it did for like the first 6 episodes, for the full 24 episodes, it wouldn't be I probably would have not been super into it. I probably still would have watched, but not as feverishly as I am now. But like as soon as like the midpoint where like it transitioned into the second core of it, where it's like the next, like these last couple episodes have definitely pushed it up a level into like there's actually some like nebulous stuff, like you said, going on. There's more of a plot. There's some darkness seeping in through the cracks of the dungeon. It's there's a lot of mystery to it, and it's very interesting for sure. Now, Cole, poop all over this show.
I'm not going to poop all over it. I just think maybe I am going back to my introduction for this episode. Maybe my brain is too smooth, and I like the start of it. I liked how original it was. I liked how I liked how it was, it's an adventure show, but like it's from this whole other aspect of like, it's a cooking show, but it's like the most unrealistic cooking show you've ever seen in your life. You can't make any of these meals. And I like that joke. I understand that I don't think that joke would work on a 24 episode scale, but I feel like it would have worked 12 episodes. And I get where it was going, and I don't think I would dislike it, but I found myself kind of trailing off, and now I'm 5 episodes behind, and I don't know if and when I'm going to catch up. And I can't quite put my finger on why.
And it's really funny. It's really funny you say that, Cole, because like a lot of the talk about Delicious in Dungeon is kind of fading. I don't really see as many people talking about it as when it was airing last season as now. And that might just be because there's a whole large list of shows that just started.
I think part of that is how strong this season is.
But even then, like it just, if the show were like super stand out to me, I feel like people would still be talking about it.
Yeah,
especially because it had its chance to get its foot in the door.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad show by any means. I just I found myself personally being more invested in the earlier episodes, and now I'm kind of it's kind of just become a fantasy show, which is fine.
Kinda, yeah, I get that.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? Is there any shows that you're continuing?
There is one that I continued because it started like midway through the last season. And I think I might be the only one watching this one here. But Ninja Kamui was the one that aired on, I think, is it, I want to say Teletoon, but that's completely wrong.
Teletoon.
Yeah. Anyway, it aired, it was basically designed for a Western audience, but animated by a Japanese studio. And man, did it drop the ball in the second half. Like it started off cool. It had like all these ninja stuff going on, and like the action was awesome and all this awesome, great stuff. And then it went into like being like a Super Sentai type show with like basically Power Rangers and like super suits and stuff.
Okay.
And like
sounds
then it started doing like
awesome.
And then it's like the fights turned into CGI, and it just kind of lost itself along the way.
Sounds pretty cool.
I'm gonna finish it, but I am disappointed. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth as I finish it for sure, because it just didn't hit the highs of the early bits there. So
yeah,
that is Ninja Kamui in a nutshell.
It's pronounced ninja. I'm sorry,
Ninja Kamui. Jay. Oh,
this guy,
Jay Gardian.
This guy.
The one time,
don't know what you're talking about, but that is a very different story.
No, Cole, just bleep that.
I'll just bleep those, Jay. Don't worry.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm not really continuing anything. But I did start a show that's not on my draft list that I think is so much fun. It's not necessarily good, but like it's the show that like I look forward to every week because of how like
go on
zany
interesting
and
sell
wild
job.
Yeah. Kind of sucks, but
no. Like it's not good in the sense that like it's a well-written show with like an interesting plot or well-developed. Let me get to the pitch before you guys like.
Yeah.
But it's so much fun in like the antics that these characters get into and the scenarios that it's.
I think I know what it is.
And that's A Salad Bowl of Eccentrics.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's not what I thought it was.
This show, despite the fact that like I've probably seen this before in A Devil is a Part-Timer, is still like so interesting in just like all the wacky hijinks that ensue. Like there was this one episode where like one of the main characters gets indoctrinated into a cult, or like they try to indoctrinate her into a cult, and like it's like you see like all these like manipulation, brainwashing tactics that the cult goes through to try to get her into it, and it's so weird, so silly, but I just can't stop watching it for some reason.
It seems like a fun show because I've actually seen like this one clip of it where like I think the blonde girl with the twin tails there is like flying through the air on her twin tails, and she like looks in the window and there's like people like having intercourse in the window.
Yeah,
I think she films them or something. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was very, very weird. It was a very very weird clip.
You guys are really doing a great job of selling this show. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Essentially, the premise of the show is like this princess and her knight get reverse isekai'd into modern Japan, and because like the princess was being chased or whatever, so they run away to this isekai world to them, and the princess joins up with this like private detective and becomes super enamored by like things like Detective Conan and like the detective ideology, I guess. And then like her knight becomes this homeless person who like can't find a job, can't hold a job.
Okay, I'm seeing the Devil's a Part-Timer comparison now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like you then like see all these like different wacky characters come out. If you've seen A Little Sister Is All You Need, it's the light novels by the same author. Or Haganai.
Is that a good thing? I don't know. I've never seen it, so
it's a great thing.
It's fun. It's a fun thing. Again, I wouldn't say it's like the best show this season, but it's just so wild that I can't stop watching it.
Yeah, it'll for sure be Jay's anime of the season. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like Jay's Jersey Shore anime of the season.
Yeah. I'm not continuing any shows either, like Jay. So I just want to talk about a show that I'm not watching.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
we're having some weird takes here.
We are having weird takes, but that's okay. That's what you come here for. That's what AniPro is all about. No, this is just gonna allow me to vent about how Girls Band Cry is not available on anything.
No,
did you draft it?
No, I didn't draft it. I kind of wish I did though, because like
then
low key,
Yeah.
It's kind of getting
a lot of praise
right now on AniList. It's sitting at a 78, which is quite high on AniList.
Yeah.
There's no way for me to watch this. There is no way for me to watch this show, this CG show about girls playing in a high school band. And I'm sure they sound way too good because high school bands and flipping people off and high school bands and anime always sound way too good. Take it from me. I was in a band in high school and we sucked. Right, Mike?
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
No, I really want to watch this show. One day I'll get around to it, but yeah, Girls Band Cry looks interesting. It's getting good reviews, like I said. So, but there's not much that I can say about it because
I wonder if the good reviews are just because like the only people who are watching it and rating the show are the people that are really trying to seek it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but everything I've seen from it looks pretty good. Like, I'm not seeing like bad stuff coming out of it.
So it's not like the full like Day Live season 5 effect where like it's rated well because the only people watching Day Live season 5 have also enjoyed the previous 4 seasons.
No, because there's nothing to like cling to in this. I think the people who are watching it because it's good.
Well,
right?
it's also
there was
not
no
available
investment
anywhere. So like the people who are watching it have seeked it out.
Yeah,
but there's no previous investment that you would have had to make. Right.
Girls Band Cry is one of those. We did a trailer watch with another podcaster, so I was just in their Discord, and Girls Band Cry was one of those. We watched the trailer, and it was this is an anime that did not really preview well, or like a trailer wise. You kind of look at it, it's like, oh, it's a Toei CG show about girls, and there's going to be a lot of angst, and they're going to be in a band, like whatever. You just kind of next trailer. So it is kind of.
I remember that's what we said basically.
Yeah.
So it is kind of. I'm not watching it either, but it is a kind of show that I'm glad that it's found its audience, and hopefully there will be a way to, some kind of saint will license it, or even if it isn't licensed, just may have to find. Oh, there goes the cat. May have to find alternative means, as we say.
Came in too.
That's why the cat left. Your dog came in.
Yeah.
Dave, what's your next show on the list then? Have you watched it, unlike me?
My next one is I've only seen the first 2 episodes so far, so kind of take this with a grain of salt. But it's Astronaut. Have you guys seen this one? The boarding house one?
The first episode, and I could not get into it.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of why I've only seen the.
Talk about it.
I don't really have much to say about it. I mean, it's a cute show. It's it's like Urusei Yatsura. It reminds me of that actually a lot, because you have the whole boarding house, and it's secretly run by like aliens or that also
kinda,
like look like humans,
of, like,
and
a little bit of a mix between Urusei Yatsura and Maison Ikkoku.
Yeah, Maison Ikkoku, exactly. So you got it's basically in a boarding house full of eccentrics, and if you like that kind of show, then great. It's not my preferred kind of show to watch. This is something that I just kind of throw on in the background, or it's just, there's nothing really, like there's some kind of connecting threads. The puns are also very funny. You've got the whole, there's like a Planet Widow, and then the hubbies are after him. So there's all like there's a lot of verbal puns going on, where you got our main character who has a crush on the landlady, but he thinks that she's a widow. And then, of course, now she has a space fiance coming down. You've got aliens that look like a poodle. And it's weird. It's fun, but it's also animated really well. This is a very pretty show. And
yeah, especially
it's got everything going for it.
For an original show.
Yeah, so I mean, like Jay said, it's like if Maison Ikkoku and Urusei Yatsura just kind of got together and said, we're going to do like 13 episodes, and we're just going to run with it. And
I could be here
it's
for
very
13 episodes
very nice.
of that, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's a relaxing show. It's not one that's going to have my butt in a seat weekly. And so I just rewatched the first episode, and then today I watched episode 2, and I was like, okay, yeah, space fiance, that's the typical twist, and now it's just going to be, I mean, it's just fun to watch these characters. The reaction faces are also priceless. Their facial animation is outstanding. This is that's where a lot of the humor is.
It's weird though, because like I get what you're saying, Dave, but at the same time, like I tried watching the first episode and I got through it, but like I just couldn't find myself wanting to watch any more of it. Like I don't know if it was like the jokes just didn't land for me, or like the setup just kind of felt too similar to like we were saying, Meizu Koku and Ursa Yatsura, and I'd already seen that before. But like it didn't really do enough to hook me.
Yeah.
I feel.
No.
I will say it bodes well though. Dave, you mentioned that like the animation looks really good in it. It's Telecom Animation Film. Jay, do you know what their next anime is?
I feel like I should, but I'm blanking right now.
It's Blue Box. They're doing Blue Box next.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's a good sign. That's a good sign for the animation.
Also, we're reviewing.
It's kind of using that animation style.
You can come back and check out our review of the manga
next week.
And yeah,
ooh,
is it next week?
Yeah, it's next week.
Oh boy! First 3 volumes. Yeah, I got one that I'm astounded. You lovely gentlemen haven't brought up because you're much bigger fans of it than I. Mushoku Tensei.
Well, I mean, Mike, give us a chance to discuss Mushoku
Well, you guys
Tensei.
said you're not watching anything continuing.
Well, I meant from last season.
Yeah. Talking about continuing from last season.
Okay. But go off, Kings. Go off, King Mike.
So, listen, sit down. I'm on my throne. I'm King Mike. Yes. Mushoku Tensei Season 2, Part 2. It's more Mushoku Tensei. Okay, we can go on to the next one.
Yes, let's.
I mean, what else needs to be said? No, it's great. It's a great show.
It's really
we got
good.
Great characters. I cannot wait. At the end of every week, I just can't wait for next week. And it's one of those shows where you sit down, you watch it, and you're like, how did 24 minutes go by so fast? It's unfair.
And like, especially the last episode 17, like, both the direction and the writing of it, both Rudy and Norn's characters were just like so top notch. And I like Cole said, I can't wait for more. I can't wait to see what happens next. And it's unfair that I have to wait a week every week.
It is unfair. Thanks for bringing it up, Mike.
You're welcome.
I was having a real good day, and then you reminded me that we only get this 1 day a week.
There's a new episode in like today by the time this episode comes out.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
I'm enjoying this season 2, part 2, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the best thing. I don't know if I'm waiting on bated breath like you lovely gentlemen are. It's good, but I feel like the Rudius building a family and renovating a house arc is kind of maybe not my favorite arc
of
Mushoku Tensei.
I love it.
I am thoroughly enjoying Rudius building a family.
You guys are generally more of the slice of life fans than I am as well. So that checks out.
Yeah.
That checks out.
Yeah.
If you like Rudius redeeming himself from being a creepy little pervert and being more wholesome in general, then you're probably going to enjoy this.
Yeah. I will say, and I'm just strictly going off of what I think will happen, bearing in mind that this podcast was recorded a week ago for you listeners. I do believe that the action in this season will ramp up.
Well,
just
if
based
the
even on the OP.
to go by, then yeah,
I figure it will too.
Yeah. Dave, have you watched Mushoku Tensei at all?
No, I'm not really a isekai person.
You're missing out.
Fair.
This is a good isekai, but that's okay.
I've heard, but I've also like bounced off of ReZero and things like I'm really not modern isekai kind of person. So
I feel like
I've been kind of sit back
in the same vein, so that checks out.
Well, I haven't even watched Konosuba. Well, I do plan to watch Konosuba, so I'm not gonna. You can redact that statement. I do plan to watch Konosuba. No, I'm just not a modern isekai person. It's not really my genre of choice.
Yep, valid.
And I'm burnt out.
Yeah,
I would say Konosuba's worth it though. Of all of them,
I feel like it's got a different hat on that it.
We'll get to that in the.
In your seasonals. Who had another one?
Jay.
Well,
I mean, you're next. I'm going based off of the order here.
Okay. I think most of the other shows I'm watching, honestly, that like I think are good, we drafted.
Okay.
So
were you watching that Unnamed Memory? That feels like a J show.
I was watching it, and it's good. It like there's nothing really worth talking about because it's just kind of like a decent fantasy show.
Okay.
But it's not. I wouldn't say it stands out really. It does have a good.
Do you
ED
like
song,
vanilla?
Though. Yeah.
Do you like vanilla?
Yeah, pretty much. Do you like vanilla fantasy?
I got about 2 episodes into it, and I was like, "Yep, I've seen pretty much a lot of what the show has to offer."
Yeah,
I've seen this. Yeah.
Basically,
yeah.
I like the waifu
novel
in it, but yeah,
I've read the light novel, and I think like the ending of the first season will be very, very interesting. But like,
you gotta
to wait that long to get there is a bit much.
Yeah. Well, I'll go next because there is one that I was unfortunately unable to draft that just upsets me, makes me sad in big sad ways. Yuru Camp, Yuru Camp season 3 has been a delight, just classic comf. It's not one of those shows where you're gonna watch for like the high octane action, but it's definitely, I think, king or queen of the just comf shows. You know what do they call that?
Yashike.
Yashike,
yeah. It's it does a great job. It makes me want to go camping. It makes me want to drink hot chocolate. It makes me want to cook sausages on an open fire.
And speaking of Eurocamp and reviews,
we're
going to be reviewing that in a couple weeks too, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. The manga or the anime?
The anime.
The anime. The first
season.
The first season. Yeah, I'm crawling my way through the first season because it's Eurocamp is my it's Yashike, it's my de-stressing time. So yeah, more I can't like binge Eurocamp. It's just every like 2 months or so, it's just the next episode because that's just how comfy it is.
It strikes me as a show that would work for that too, where like there's not like a plot line from what I can tell. Right. But I don't know. I've never seen anything from Eurocamp, so.
No, I mean nothing bad ever happens
super
to
comfy.
them. It's super comfy. Everybody's wearing their toques. Everyone's wearing their sweaters and their blankets. It's nice.
They are cute girls doing cute things.
Cute girls.
Yeah,
doing
they're also a lot smarter than I was. But also, I never really got to choose the time or place when my troop would go camping. So we almost anytime we did go camping, it was always like in the dead of summer in Mississippi, which is murder. But the couple of times that we would do like it's not the warmth, it's the humidity that'll get you.
Warm and humid.
But anytime we did like the fall and winter camping, that was fun. Even if it was that humidity also works against you when it's cold. So we would get like our polar bear patches for being out and below freezing. It'd be like 19 degrees with 80% humidity, which was basically also murder. But it was
fun. That does not sound comfortable at all. That sounds uncomf.
But that's the thing. Like they make camping look so much fun. It's like if you don't have an agenda when you're out there camping, you get everything set up and you get your mat or you get your stool, and it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah. No, and I like it because they just kind of sit there and they just, I don't know.
They just
so
vibe.
Relaxing. They just vibe.
It's so good.
I will say though, I do get a crack out of the idea of winter camping because if we did that here, we would die.
We would camped once. I camped outside when it was minus 30 or something.
Celsius. We should specify.
Celsius, yeah. It's
which is even
the same as Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Even so.
Yeah. No, I love this show. Definitely gonna continue this one. I'm not dropping this one for anything. I love it. Great OP. The OD's fine. Great show. I love it. Dave, what do you got next?
I think so I have 2 left. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and talk about this one. This one's over on Hulu or Disney Plus. Anyone here watching The Fable?
No, I've seen stuff about it, but I haven't watched it at all.
Got a sigh from Gary in there.
I have heard so many good things about The Fable, and then the anime came out. And the anime is nowhere near as good as the manga, apparently. So like I really want to check out the manga, but like the anime.
It sounds like Dave's enjoying it, so let's see what he thinks.
It's been decent. I mean, I can see like if you're a manga fan, the discourse in my group has been like we're really enjoying the Fable. I'm not really hearing any gripes in my circle from the manga readers, but it is. I will say so this is TMS Studio, Tokyo Movie Shinsa, and so they are. I know them like currently for doing like Baki. And I'm a huge fan of the Baki anime adaptation. So I'm expecting something like kind of on that level, but not in the level of the combat, but the kind of animation, it seems, I'm not going to say it's limited, but the Fable, the way that it's working feels very, shall I say, economic. And so it's not immediately appealing, but it's a very dialogue heavy show. And for the most part, I think the dialogue's pretty funny. If you like It's Always Sunny, it's kind of got that dry wit to it. But I think with the Fable, and I'm making a gun. I think with the Fable, it's a show that's not as much fun to watch weekly. I think once it's all out and you can actually sit with the flow of the episodes, it'll go better. Because the next one I have on my list is one that I'm like, I want to watch like every single episode. Like it's killing me that it's just coming out weekly because the flow is just so straightforward, like just fast. But the Fable is like more like relaxing, bit of a comedy, like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of setup. And so, I mean, ironically, it's kind of a comfy show, but I don't know. It's a weird show.
Okay.
I feel like if you like The Way of the House Husband,
there you go. There you go. Exactly.
You'll probably like this.
Yeah.
Okay, that checks out.
I should have led with that.
Yeah.
Let's I don't have any more. I don't know. I think Dave has one more, so maybe we
I don't have any more either.
Yeah.
I think if we can probably wrap up with Dave's
we'll get double Dave for the last one here.
Yeah.
Double Dave. So this is one that Crunchyroll actually held back for 2 weeks. I didn't know if they'd actually grabbed it, or they said they had it, and they were like, "You'll have it soon." So this is Yatagarasu. The Raven does not choose its master.
Okay.
It is Have you seen this? Have you heard of it?
I watched the first episode.
You did watch the first episode?
Before I say anything, go off.
This is the first one I have legitimately not even heard of. So
yeah, I'm scrambling.
Off. Yeah.
Okay, so do you know how there's been a recent string of like these Imperial Court intrigue shows, like Apothecary Diaries was the most recent one?
Yeah.
And you know that Yatagarasu is like the three-legged raven, and it's like a big deal in like Shinto mythology, is like the messenger of the gods or whatever. So basically, this is taking place in the land, or like where they all come from, like the land of the Yatagarasu. So you have basically raven people. They can transform into ravens. You've got a central kingdom, and it's basically in 4 different territories. You've got the Imperial Palace, a crown prince, and there's a whole dispute over the rightful heir to the throne. So it's a classic thing of like the older brother was supposed to be next in line. He's the empress's son. However, the younger brother is a golden raven, like a true golden raven, which is like, he's actually like part deity, which automatically makes him, you're now the king, or like you're now the crown prince. Well, the younger prince is also the son of a concubine. So you have all of this stuff sitting here. And so the Imperial Court is basically split down the middle of 2 factions between the older brother and the younger brother, and it's all taking place in the shadows. So basically what we have is we have the crown prince and his older brother in this secret war for the throne. And in the middle of this, we have like our everyday protagonist. It's a kid named Yukiya. And basically through circumstance, he ends up becoming an attendant to the crown prince because he kind of fell into the role. And it just so happens that he is the only attendant to the crown prince. And so he's wittingly and unwittingly involved in a lot of the shadow games that is being done. So like there's one big arc where where the crown prince like goes into the red light district as like a young lord, and he loses at gambling and puts up his attendant as collateral. So all of a sudden, like a month and a half passes. Yuki has been working like as a laborer, like repairing and cleaning out the beds, like in the brothels. But during that month and a half, he's also been secretly observing all of the meetings from the older from the older brother, as they've all been secretly meeting in the brothel. So he knows all the hidey holes in these brothels. And it also tells us all of these connected tunnels and things to the central palace. That's just the start. We are still setting up dominoes, and it's episode 6. This is taking a while because you have a whole 4-way concubine battle to see who's going to marry the crown prince as well. That's a whole can of worms. It's just, this is court intrigue at its finest.
Mm-hmm. And it is a 20-episode show, so it is going to continue into next season too.
And it's also done by this little anime studio called Studio Pierrot. I don't know if you guys have heard of them.
Studio Pierrot.
I'm familiar with some of their work. One of their shows may come up in the second half, potentially. Possibly.
What were you going to say there, Jay?
And it's also by the director of the first couple seasons of Yuru Camp.
Yep.
Oh. I'm in. Sign me up. Yeah. All right.
There you go. Looks great. It is great. Studio Pierrot, I also really like just an isekai shout out for one that I really do like. If you want to watch a isekai from 2002, The 12 Kingdoms. That was Studio Pierrot. That's more like a Narnia kind of isekai where you're trying to go back, but that's also a lot of court intrigue. So I see a lot of 12 Kingdoms, a little bit of Apothecary Diaries. If not so much My Happy Marriage, but just classic politics and a little bit of action, plenty of slice of life as well, as in life getting sliced. So
Ravens be slicing. Yeah,
Ravens be.
Well, they have
slicing.
katana, but yeah,
they're like Warhawks from Elden Ring.
Well, they're one thing I have to clarify. They are humans. Like they take a human form, but they can transform into Raven. But you even have like the upper nobility
Animorphs.
who exactly like Animorphs, except only ravens. So
it's like Animorphs, but oops, all Raven.
Oops, all ravens. That's so Raven.
That's so Raven.
So like you even have like the upper nobility who have never transformed into ravens, and then you have people who like the class divide of like, oh, we'll just transform all the time, like for manual labor, like carrying things. And you have people who have stayed ravens for so long, or like they're so poor, they actually sell themselves out. It's like if you tie the third leg of the Yatagarasu, it prevents them from transforming back into people. So like they call these ravens horses. So you have there's a whole
horse
class
ravens.
System going. Yeah, horse ravens that they like. They
really
carry.
Is oops, all Raven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, like these are actually people who have sold themselves into like, 3 years, work me as a horse. Like, not even joking. So it's an interesting little world, Yatagarasu. So I didn't mean to talk so long about it, but I just really like this anime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just a lot to say.
No, I mean, it's intriguing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I might check that one out, to be honest. But
I feel like
think
you'd like
that's
it, Cole.
Pixie.
Yeah, I think that's all of the shows. That's every anime this season.
It's not though, Cole. It's not though. We have 15 more shows to talk about.
We do have 15 more shows to talk about. We're gonna now, Jay.
Dave,
you know what?
So long about the Raven one
We've been talking for a long time. How about we take a short break?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come back. Then we'll talk about the 15 other.
We'll
shows.
rejuvenate ourselves.
That's right.
Jay, you're safe from my tyranny this week. No mailbag. But when we come back from the break, though, then you have to put up with me.
Look up into the sky and say, "But there is another," and your face turns red.
Yes. Let's go to an break.
All right.
welcome back to the AniPro Podcast. We're here again. We've got Dave from Treehouse Anime Club, and now we're going to talk about the shows that we picked to talk about.
Wow, excellent intro, Cole.
Hey, that's what I do here. I'm the host. I speak words in English, or try to.
So goodly.
I try to anyway. I think what we should do is we should just go in reverse order from the draft. So we'll go with the last pick, which would have been Mike's, and then we'll finish off with the very first pick, which was mine. This guy here.
This is why Cole gets paid the big bucks.
This is why I get. This is listen. You get what you pay for here, Mike.
Dave, you really shouldn't be feeding him this stuff.
Yeah, really, his head cannot physically get any bigger. It's getting dangerous.
I'm having trouble finding hats big enough for my head.
It grew 3 sizes when I gave him that teeny tiny trophy on the shelf behind him there.
What the trophy lacks in size, my head more than makes up for.
That's right.
Yes.
It's a girthy one, that's for sure.
It is a girthy one.
Speaking of girthy ones, I think I'm up first, right?
Mm-hmm. You are up first, yeah.
Okay. So the last one that I drafted, I guess we should say, is Grimm Variations. Yep. That's right.
That's correct.
And I've watched about half of it, and the reason I called it a girthy one is because it's got like 40 to an hour long episodes for each of the 6 episodes. And
42 hour long episodes?
Sorry, it's 40 minutes to an hour long episodes for each episode.
Okay.
Yes. I knew, when you like say something and you hear it as you're saying it and you're like, that was wrong. And then you just try to like,
I understood what you meant.
A good friend would allow that to just like pass over, but
no,
you're dealing with
but a great friend would call you out on it.
Yeah,
exactly, Dave. Exactly. Dave knows. And I'm glad you did, because let's talk more about the 40 to 60 minute episodes of
40 to 60-minute episodes.
4,260 minute episodes.
7 years ago.
Can Riverside mess up again? This is just ridiculous. Let's end it all. Okay, Grimm Variations.
Okay.
It is not what I expected, first of all.
Okay.
So when I drafted this show, I expected a show that was going to be essentially just like anime Grimm's fairy tales with like maybe there's a bit of a twist. I didn't expect a big freaking twist for these shows, because listen, Cole, first of all, the thing I'm going to say to you is somehow sci-fi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Are you watching this one too, Dave?
I have watched all 6 episodes.
Okay. So I watched the first 3 so far with Shazana. And so the first one starts off kind of what you'd expect, I would say. It's dark and it gets really graphic and gory, which is kind of, again, what I sort of expected. And then the second one happens and you're like in full on like futuristic land where like people have these like implants in their eyes and they like allow people to like live in a virtual reality, but it's like a retelling of like the Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf and stuff.
Okay.
And it just does not go how you expect at all. And it's great. Honestly, it's I don't know why it's not getting talked about more, because I'm really enjoying it. It's right up my alley for sure.
It's not getting talked about, probably the same reason JoJo Part 6 wasn't talked about.
Yeah, the Netflix problem.
All they're dumped on Netflix.
Yeah.
I will say it was interesting. I went out for some after work beverages with coworkers.
Okay.
And he knows, my coworker, he knows that I have this podcast where we discuss anime and whatnot. Mike J, you've met him. He said that he watched this show randomly. And
what?
He said it was pretty good. He said that he liked it. I feel like it'd
be up his alley, actually. Yeah. So that checks out.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I may check this one out. We did a watch party for this one, right? There was the one that I wasn't able to attend.
We were going to do the watch party and then we realized it was a long episode.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we watched Yokazura Family instead. Which will come up later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave,
what did you think of this one, Dave?
Yeah.
I think as a whole, this is fine. It's an anthology series, so I think it honestly peaked early. So the second episode, if you're talking just pure violence, second episode is definitely the goriest.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest is more, like I said, the whole series has more of a science fiction bent than I thought it would. Some episodes are more surprisingly lighthearted. For something called the Grimm Variations, the later episodes are surprisingly like there's one that's actually rather wholesome, but on the whole, it's fine. It's certainly going to be something unexpected. They're using the anthology format in kind of how I expect them to. As I just said, it was unexpected, but it is being how I expect them to use the anthology format, in that they're doing some experimental stuff. They're doing like kind of like a visual storytelling first. The comparisons to the classic fairy tales are it's there. It's enough to like it's a very loose adaptation, so you don't need to know the ins and outs. But it was okay. I liked it. It was an enjoyable time. I do think the first two episodes in terms of shock factor were certainly the ones. If you're thinking Grimm Variations, gory twists, like those are definitely it. The rest, still some gore, but it's nothing like the first two episodes.
Yeah,
certainly still dark, but the later half is certainly more hopeful. So that's what I have to say about the Grimm Variations.
Okay.
And it's Wit Studio. I mean, they look good, and some of even the one that I'm not a big fan of, one episode, I kind of like take or leave this episode. I still love the character designs, and I like the atmosphere of the story and everything about it. Just the adaptation itself is like, I had to kind of look up this one story to kind of get the reference that they were making. And even then, it was like they turned this one thing into like a Wild West take. So if you know the episode I'm talking about, then I was like, adaptation fine, but visually and kind of the mood, it was nice.
And you talk about the character designs, and I mean, it's Clamp, and Clamp always does a pretty good job.
Exactly. These are some Clamp ass designs. They are great.
We got some long legs. Yeah, it's.
I will say,
actually not that long legs. It's just more like their faces and body type, but it's not really not so much the long legs. This is not so much Holic. This is just more like a
I don't
card
think you
captor.
would know if you didn't know it was Clamp. Like, you wouldn't immediately. You'd just be like, "Oh, it's Clamp inspired." Is what I would
actually
guess.
I think if people would recognize, if people Code Geass is still kind of around, so some of these characters look like they could have come out straight up, especially like some of their clothes. Like Code Geass has some very creative fashion choices at times. So these are characters, like if you're thinking Clamp designs, think of it like in the vein of Code Geass.
Okay,
and that's the kind of Clamp style we're talking about. Not so much manga Clamp.
Yeah. So Dave finished it. I'm going to continue watching it. So I'm I'd put this one as a recommend to watch.
2 thumbs up
for sure.
Okay,
not the best thing, but definitely worth checking out.
I'll probably check it out. Yeah. Jay would be next. Jay, what was your pick?
I believe my last show was A Condition Called Love.
Correct.
And I am very, very intrigued by this show. It is shoujo. It's a shoujo romance story about a guy who like falls really hard for our main character girl here. Just for the fact that she like put an umbrella over his head, which like it was supposed to be like a nothing gesture.
That's all it takes.
And like it's kind of highlighted that like it was nothing, but like
guy's thirsty.
Then he goes like all in on wanting to be with her, and like it kind of borderlines this like red flag vibe. And honestly, I love it for that. I think it's very interesting getting to see like these two characters interact, and how his like seemingly unorthodox form of love impacts her, and how like she learns love because of that.
Okay.
Is she like is she like apathetic to love or something?
Yeah, so like she's very apathetic toward love, and she's like, I don't really know I don't know what love is. I've never.
What is love?
Okay, she's that. Oh, come on, Dave. That kind of character.
Yeah, so it's basically like
she is
polar
that kind of character.
opposites. You know, one's like super heavy into it, and the other's like oblivious to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I struggle to say that.
I've heard the shoujo fans are liking this show, so it just seems like this season's shoujo kind of.
It is a lot of fun. I think that like if you're looking for very deep character writing, then you're probably not going to find it here, but you're still going to find an interesting enough story that could keep you interested. So I would still recommend it, and I'm going to keep watching it regardless. And you can watch it on Crunchyroll. You can watch Grimm Variations on Netflix, by the way.
Yes, I forgot we were supposed to say that.
I mean, we discussed it. It was on Netflix. Condition Called Love. Yeah, this was on my radar. I haven't started it yet, though. It definitely looks intriguing. I mean, you guys know I like me a shoujo show, a shoujo show, a mojo show. Yeah, I'll probably pick this up, but it might be one like at the end of the season where I just binge it completely. So
also the OP is like low-key a bop. It's pretty good. Yeah,
got some good OPs this season.
We do have some good OPs. We do have like one standout OP though. I think
got a couple of standout OPs. I'm gonna be. We'll get to one that I think is going to be a bit contentious later on. Because I think Jay and I have talked about it, and he said he's not as high on it, but I love it. But speaking of good OPs, why don't we talk about a bad OP? The many sides of voice actor radio was my next show.
Yes,
I'm enjoying this show, to be honest. The OP is awful. I hate it. I skip it every time. I don't know. It's like somebody trying too hard to sing well, and it just comes.
The actual song is bad.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you anything about the OP, just like the visuals of the OP itself, because I skip it. I can't stand the singing in it. So, but the show is pretty good. I like the character dynamics between the two leads. Basically, it's about two seiyuu. They're voice actor idol characters. One is like Gyaru, and one is kind of like a quiet. What would be the term, Jay? Kudere?
Yeah, I guess a kudere.
Yeah. But like, when they're on stage, their character is completely different. So they have a voice actor radio show where they play off of each other, and the whole dynamic is, or the whole show is about their conflicts with each other. What I will say is that the most recent episode kind of changed the dynamic of it, and I'm a little bit concerned that it could potentially go too far into the like background of like how difficult it is being a voice actor and what voice actors should and shouldn't do, which is maybe a little bit too specific. I understand
that could be interesting though.
It could be, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if I can relate with it. For example, most recently, like a character did something perhaps rash, and like on the one hand, you're supposed to like identify with what the character did because they think that they did the right thing. But the show is also playing it from the point of like, well, maybe you didn't do the right thing. All of these other characters are saying that, hey, no, you did something wrong. You shouldn't have done this. And I don't know what the show is trying to tell me. If did she do the right thing for sticking up for her friend, or did she do the wrong thing for like potentially throwing her career away, I guess? But like
some mixed messages kind of you're getting out of it.
Yeah. So I hope that that's just a single episode thing and things can kind of move on, because I'm enjoying the show. I like the voice acting. Ironically, I like the voice acting in it. I like the animation's fine. I mean, you don't watch this one for like great animation or anything like that, but I'm enjoying it. Is anyone else watching this one, or is it just me solo?
I started watching it, and honestly, I think one of the main reasons why I haven't really caught up, like been on top of it, is because like there's so many shows this season.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's kind of the tough thing with this one.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just like it's not the most important show of the season, but I think it's I think it could be interesting. Like
it's sitting at a 68 on AniList, so that seems like it's
almost
better than
nice.
Bad.
Almost
nice.
Almost nice. Yeah,
almost
but
nice.
not quite. I don't know. Sits in my 5 spot. I feel like it deserves to be there. I'll keep up with it, but it's on thin ice. I'll tell you, it's on thin ice right now. Mike, what's your next show?
My next show, before I say that, actually, when I asked Dave what shows they were watching before we arranged this whole episode, Dave, you have like a hot seat for shows.
Oh yeah,
which I think that's an interesting idea to have, is where it's like shows that are on thin ice that are like close to being dropped. And I might use that as well.
Yeah.
But my next show is, let me remember here. Oh, here we go. It's actually pretty apt that this is my next show. I have Mission Yokazura Family as my next show that I drafted. And I've watched a couple episodes of this show. We did a watch party for it. Essentially, it's available on Hulu or Disney Plus if you're not in the United States.
My last one was Netflix or Crunchyroll. Sorry.
Yeah. It's basically, when I drafted it, I thought it was going to be basically spy family, but actually a family of spies, not Esper, ninja, assassin, and a spy. But this one's actually just like, a bunch of like assassin spy people, and they're a zany family. And basically the plot is that this normal person gets like sucked into this family by marriage, by like basically forced marriage to his like childhood best friend. And it just, I don't know what it is about it. I just can't get into it. I don't care about any of the characters.
Okay.
I don't care about what's happening in it. The animation looks fine. It just in like a season this packed, it just does not meet the caliber I need it to be. And I know what Jay has told me before is that this manga, when it was coming out, was like very, very close to being dropped multiple times. And it's like got like hundreds of chapters now or whatever. So it clearly gets better later on as it goes. And this is slated to run for 27 episodes or something. So they've given it the runway it needs to get better. I just don't know if I'll be here for it, honestly, guys. This is definitely on my hot seat or on my thin ice for sure. We'll see. Is anyone else checking out this one?
Yeah,
I haven't started.
I'm watching it.
No.
And the main reason why Yozakura Family initially wasn't dropped was just because there were shows that were performing worse than it, not because like it was necessarily good.
You're talking about the manga, right?
The manga.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I kind of had this worry, and I think it's kind of coming to fruition, that the early stuff in Yozakura wouldn't really go over with a lot of anime onlys for the same reason. Like it just didn't hit, and then like after a while it does switch over, and I'm thinking that because it's 27 episodes, they're gonna get to that point. But
I am concerned about that. Like Jay, you've mentioned how it kind of like changes thematically, quite. I wouldn't say drastically, but noticeably. I'm a little nervous about that because, like, the people who are enjoying it right now, are they gonna continue to enjoy it?
It's still the same like series, right? Like it's just that it kind of, I don't want to say it finds its footing, but like it
just feels right now it's super messy, and like there's not, the threads are just like on a tangle on the floor, and you're just not invested enough to like pick them up and organize them into something good. And maybe they eventually do.
I guess to take the messy strings metaphor and run with it, the tapestry is weaved more elegantly later on.
Ooh,
it's like the meme of like the crappily drawn horse that slowly gets better and better. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know. It's still on my hot seat for sure. Dave, have you checked this one out?
No, but I vaguely remember. Was this a Shonen Jump manga?
Yeah, it's still running.
Okay,
in Shonen Jump.
So I know about this through a podcast called Shonen Flop. So they talk about all the failed manga and, as they say, manga and Shonen Jump that didn't make it big. So basically, vicariously through that podcast, I've heard rumblings of Mission Yokazura Family when it was struggling. So they said possibly a future episode. We don't know. And then Yokazura Family was able to turn it around, which is good because there's a myriad of manga that doesn't. So shout out to Shonen Flop just for that. But no, I don't really have an interest in it right now. No. So we'll have to see how it goes. I was watching an anime from last season that was Sengoku Yoko, and like everyone and their dog was dropping this thing.
Yeah.
And I was enjoying it because it was like, it did feel like an early 2000s kind of series, yet this thing came out in the 2010s.
Yeah.
But I stuck with it because I like that manga's. Yeah, he came out like the.
I think he's
the manga itself was like.
Yeah.
The manga came out in the 2010s or like almost 2020. It's like it's a very recent manga, but this guy has a very particular style. And it's kind of that same thing of like the animation was like by White Fox and it was good, but it was also next to like Jujutsu Kaisen and other things. I just get blown out of the water. So the Yokazura Family to me. The bar is so high that we can't, like White Fox, it looks good, but people are like saying it looks cheap or whatever. But I stuck with it. I'm really enjoying Sengoku Yoko. There's always a twist that comes during those stories, and the story's getting really twisty. But so I'm hoping that in the future I'll see that Yokazura Family, the anime, will be something to check out because I haven't even watched like Spy Family, and that's just because it's like it's something that's really good. I know I'm gonna like it, but I know like just how good it is. Like I'll just watch it later. So maybe Yokazura Family will be like in that same sort of pile.
Yeah, I'm very curious because like I'm trying to think of like where it'll end off, and like it might get to like the cusp of when it gets like good. And when I say good,
so like 27 episodes, like 25 episodes. I was thinking maybe like you would be asking like 10 episodes or 12. But if you're saying like 25,
it takes.
If you're saying like 20 plus episodes for this thing to, okay, I get the thing. Well, that's okay. Then that's
and even then,
I have nothing else to say. Then
even then, like, and just from the manga perspective, popularity wise, it's around the same place as Undead Unluck, which like isn't really that high up in Jump's popularity ranking. So like it does get better.
Undead Unluck was way better
but like
Undead and Unluck is amazing. Yeah.
It's really good. It's just like doesn't sell.
Apparently not. Yeah. Anyway,
you know what does sell?
Is it what sells?
Bookstore owners with large assets.
Oh yes, we were talking about this while Cole was in the nether regions there.
I was in the Shadow Realm.
That's my next show, Mysterious Disappearances, which the trailer gave off like a lot of Monogatari vibes, and that's kind of why I was very interested in it. Because of that comparison. And watching it it still does, and I think that it's a very interesting concept. I'd liken it more at this moment to Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, but more directed toward boys.
Kind of like, would you say like an inspector type?
Like, yeah, kind of like there are different like supernatural phenomenon going on, and the main group have to like kind of resolve it.
You know what it reminds me of? A show that came out, was it last season or the season before? Dark Gathering?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I don't know if it's going to get as dark as that show, though. Like Dark Gathering went places.
Yeah.
But I get the comparison for sure. Yeah. That was my first impression as well.
I haven't seen Dark Gathering, so I can't make that comparison. But like I've seen that people have compared it to that. And
I mean, to be honest,
it's an easy comparison to make.
Listen, peek behind the kimono. I haven't watched either of these shows. So from a completely outside perspective, those are the two comparisons that I'd make.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And as someone who also has not watched this show, I'm looking on the AniList here, and the recommendations are Dark Gathering, Monogatari, Call of the Night, and Mirako-chan.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
You guys know what you're talking about, is what I'm saying.
Got that
not
big
you, Cole.
brain. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Well, Cole's. Well, I'm looking ahead at Cole's list, and he's got the high dive list on lock here.
Yeah, he's
with
Mr. High Dive.
With his stuff. So, I mean, speaking of high dive, that Dark Gathering is an excellent series to check out if you want to.
I think Cole drafted it when it was airing.
I did.
He did.
Yeah.
Dang, it finished strong at 75. Dark Gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, Mysterious Disappearances. It is. Yeah, I've only seen the first episode, and at the time, I thought it was going to be like the shows that we mentioned, and then the first episode happened. I was like, okay, this is the ecchi tag is here for a reason. There's some there's two very impressive reasons that we have an ecchi tag here.
Mount Opie makes an appearance. Yeah.
Oh yeah. She's rocking the flash and thunder.
She's got a lot going on for her.
You guys got me to watch the opening theme, the OP for this one while we were waiting for Cole too, and like good gravy. Yeah. Okay.
Oh mama.
When it comes to the OP, I
hot for teacher, like you said.
The visuals are kind of like whatever, but like I do like the song. It's composed by Mafu Mafu.
That song was good.
Okay. And I really like Mafu Mafu's music. So good song. The show itself is fine. I don't hate it, but I think, and this was kind of my initial reaction, the ecchi kind of seems a bit excessive and a bit unnecessary.
Okay.
It seems I wouldn't want to like blah, 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 can't speak. It's kind of distracting, honestly.
Yeah.
Like you have this whole. Apparently, people are like mysterious disappearances. People are apparently getting spirited away, or some kind of supernatural phenomenon. And the bookstore clerk, she has basically this young coworker. Like he looks like a kid. He looks like a 13, 14-year-old kid, like a high school kid or junior high, just a part timer. But apparently, he has an assistant as well. So apparently, he's got some kind of supernatural ability. This is kind of a weird pull. Have you guys heard of Muyo and Rojin's Supernatural Detective Agency?
Yes.
That's like an old shonen series. Yeah, it's another shonen manga. So he kind of gives me those vibes of like he knows what's going on, and she's just kind of wrapped up in it. So in a sense, the Mount Opie here, she's in a sense, she kind of feels like the mascot character. In a weird way. That's just what I got out of episode 1. So certainly there's a little bit of weird stuff going on. The supernatural, it's not so much a horror series, but it is a weird mix of tones and camera angles, as I should say.
It's got genres: ecchi, mystery, romance, supernatural. So that all checks out for sure.
That's an eclectic mix for sure.
Yeah,
sure is.
Well, you know what? People are going to watch it. I mean, I wouldn't.
I'm watching it right after this. Yeah.
In terms
on Crunchyroll is where I'll watch it.
Yes. In terms of like whether or not I'd continue it, I might give it like another couple episodes, but like it's not really the best thing around.
Yeah,
it's fine.
That's the vibe I got.
But
there's a lot of shows that this season that are like the average show this season is fine. You know, and then there's a few standouts for sure.
Yeah, which will come up later
for sure.
My next one would be Whisper Me a Love Song, which is the first of my many, there's only 2 high dive shows.
They only have 2.
Yeah.
Whisper Me a Love Song is just your classic shoujo Yuri, wonderful, beautiful, terrific, great, fantastic. It's a good show.
Continue.
No, I'm enjoying it. I will say this is where, in my opinion, the OPs start to get good. I like the OP for this one. Well, I should say I like the song for this one. It's a very well produced song. And I mean, it's all about like this girl is in a high school band. So, I mean, of course the OP is probably going to be good. But yeah, it's your classic shoujo Yuri show where one of the main characters is like, I wouldn't say gung-ho about dating the other one, but is maybe a bit more positive on it. And the other one doesn't know what love is. So she's got to learn what love is. And I mean, look at the poster, you know which one is which if you've ever read Bloom Into You.
Well, even if you have any idea of Yuri, like this is
it's quintessential Yuri.
Yeah.
It's the formula to a T, and then they just threw a guitar in there, kind of.
Yeah, I will say something like Bloom Into You. Hot take coming from Cole. Your Bloom Into You is probably better. Like I would say, it's a superior product to something like this. But this is good. Right. I'm enjoying it. The animation is serviceable. It does what it needs to do. You get your standard Sakura petals falling on the two girls as they blush at each other.
It's literally the poster.
Yeah. But with music in it. with music in it. And I play guitar. I like that. It's nice. The girl who sings has a very nice voice. No, I'm enjoying this one. I will continue it for sure. That being said, if you like this, go read / watch Bloom Into You. It is just this, but turned up to 11. It's better.
Just the superior version of it. Right?
We also did a watch party for this show recently, and
I was just going to say we did a watch party. So I know Mike and Jay. Dave, were you in the watch party as well?
I was not.
Okay.
I didn't really have much of an interest for this show. Plus, it's like we have one, two, at least three girls getting together in a band. So we'll be talking about one in a minute. So that's the one that's the one I'm kind of going like. Yuri is not the first thing I really go for, but it's when it's good, it's good.
Yeah.
So the other one is
it's just
the other one on High Dive. Yeah, the other one on High Dive is the one that I am going to continue with.
Yeah.
So I've not seen any of this.
No, that's okay. But I know then Mike and Jay have watched the first episode of this. Then what were your guys' thoughts coming in and going out? That was weird.
I think like
a weird way to put that.
It's just weird. Like the quintessential Yuri show. And you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like it's very, very similar to Bloom Into You, but I mean it's just they're both Yuri shows, of course it is.
Yeah.
And it just kind of has the music coat of paint on it that makes it unique, really.
Yeah. Different.
Yeah.
I watching this in the watch party kind of made me realize that kind of like Dave said, Yuri's just not my genre. I have nothing against it, but it just doesn't, it's just not my cup of tea, I guess. I don't know. And but I thought it was like, there's nothing wrong with this show. Like it looks good. The voice acting's good. Everything's all good. It's just, it's just not for me.
Yeah. Let me defend myself. Cause I feel like, when somebody says
I don't think you need to.
I don't think you need to. Yeah.
Let me get defensive here.
Cole gets very defensive. We will. Yes.
When somebody says they like Yuri, people may think like, okay, you're just being a creep.
I don't think so.
No, it's just shoujo.
Yeah. It's just listen. It's just shoujo, but cuter because it's two girls.
Exactly. Like there's a level with shoujo that I enjoy and like the slice of life stuff. But I'm also like when I was in anime or getting into anime, slice of life was everywhere. Like slice of life used to be the isekai stories now.
Yeah.
So for me to for me to watch a slice of life now, it's got to do something pretty unique, or it's got to have like a really cool art style or things. And shoujo, if I'm thinking of like shoujo series, I like Nozaki-kun. There was Liz and the Bluebird, if we want to talk about a Yuri show. Kasei-san and Morning Glories. That was very sweet. And I'm not that big into like the really sweet, syrupy kind of love story. I'm just like, I love romance series, but there's a level that goes beyond that. And so Whisper Me a Love Song is kind of in that level.
No, that's what I mean.
That's all it is.
Yeah, that's what I mean about the two girls thing. It's like the sweet, syrupy, like, cloud sitting type of romance is from both characters. You get both sides being like, oh, they're so cute. Oh, they're so blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's what I mean. Anyway,
I understand. I think you got your point. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. Mike, what would be your next show?
The next one I picked was Bartender, Glass of God.
Ooh.
And it's available on Crunchyroll. only in the subtitled format. Hold on.
Sorry, I had a cat.
Yeah, my wife just came home and she was yapping on the phone.
Oh, jeez.
Doesn't she know?
Am I right?
Yeah, I know. The AniPro podcast is recording right now.
Yeah.
She should know. She comes in and probably slaps me across the head.
Yeah, probably. She should too. She should.
She should.
All right. So what's the show?
Yeah, what's this bartender show that you're talking about?
Bartender.
Yes. You said bartender. Have you seen
Bartender, Glass of God.
Yeah.
Real quick show of hands. Have y'all seen the original Bartender?
No.
Anyone?
I have not seen it.
No.
I knew about it before this season, but
have you?
Okay. Yeah, over the years, just clips and things. But yeah, I eventually watched the full series. Like it's you can find it over on Tubi TV. You can probably find it on Crunchyroll as well.
it is on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glass of
old,
God
right?
seems
Like
to be more. It's not that old. Well, I say it's not that old. It's
Mid-
like mid 2000s.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like 2006,
That's
07.
20
Watch
years
it be
ago.
like You watch it be like
It's 20.
2009. Stop.
It's 2006.
Yeah, don't say-
18
don't
years
say
ago.
2006. I said 2006.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll just kind of head it off saying I've only seen the first episode of Glass of God. It seems to be more of a straightforward adaptation of the manga. The original series had more. I think they were kind of going for like an atmospheric, kind of like a flair, almost like a. There was another podcast, Anime World Order. One of the hosts said it was almost like watching a stage play with the original adaptation to Bartender. So like with Glass of God, it almost seems like it's weird that this one came back. It's nice to see it, but it seems to be more like a straightforward adaptation. It's kind of like, nothing's like as serious as Sailor Moon Crystal, but like, it looks nice for what it is. I've only seen the first episode, and that's all I really care to watch from Glass of God. I've kind of gotten what I wanted out of Bartender.
The way I've seen Bartender, Glass of God, is it's basically the Bartender Brotherhood of the franchise.
Yeah. And it
Bartender
really
Brotherhood.
does. Yeah, like Dave alluded to, it seems like it's sticking pretty closely to like this actual plot of it. And it's basically about, so far it's just been about they're trying to find a bartender for their hotel, these two girls. And they just keep they run into this bartender and then basically the guy can he's just an unreal bartender. He can look at you and see, oh, this is what my customer needs. And makes the perfect drink for you kind of thing. It's exactly what you expect it to be.
A is for quitters.
So many bars so well.
Yeah. Well, there's some cheesy
Cole,
lines in there.
You know, bartender means
I do. Yeah.
gentle perch.
A gentle perch. Yeah. They do say that in, I think, the second episode.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's kind of, when I was watching it, I thought of something else and I can't remember what it is now, but it seems like a good show to watch an episode a week and just kind of chill and just take in the stories. And it's very refreshing to watch as an adult watching anime too, because these are all adults. They're all
burnt out
about work and stuff like that. And you kind of relate to them a little bit. Like there was, like the last episode I watched, there was a lawyer and she's just super burnt out because she's a lawyer and she has to deal with terrible things all day long. She comes in and she's just I'm getting out of the rain. I just need a drink. And he's like, I got the thing for you. And he makes her this drink I've never heard of, which looked super interesting and good. And then she's just like, you know what? Yeah. Life is good. Oh, Cole's putting his hand up.
I have a question. Does it give you the recipes for the cocktails?
In the manga,
no,
it does.
It doesn't,
Drop it
it shows
now.
you the ingredients and it's got.
Yeah,
okay.
I read a
you can
little
figure
bit
it
of the
out.
manga and saw that.
Yeah. I'm going to continue it.
Okay.
I know Dave said he's not. I'm interested to see where. I think it'll be one of the ones I just throw on an
Classic,
episode here or there just before bed or something like that. Cozy, kind of nice vibes. Get to. Yeah.
It seems like what was that show came out? It was probably even Love is a Cocktail. Thank you. It was like a short and it was
okay.
It was 5 minutes long and it gave you the recipe for a cocktail and it was cute and sweet. And Mike, I think you'd like it.
I would, but that's not what this is. It's not. I wouldn't say it's cute, and I wouldn't say it's sweet, but not in the same way. It's sweet with a little bit of bitter for sure. Recommendations on AniList are Death Parade Mushishi and Kino's Journey. So I think those are apt for sure. It's very introspective into the human condition. Yeah. But it makes sense though, because they all look into what like it means to be a person, sort of.
That is a weird list.
I'm a person who will continue the show. Cole or Jay? Who's up next? I don't know.
Hi.
Jay is about to break wind.
Yeah, I am about to talk about Windbreaker, which is also a show that we talked about or that we watched in a watch party.
Break that wind, Jay.
And this is by Studio Cloverworks on Crunchyroll, and it is pretty good. I think it.
Dave's about to explode.
Yep.
He'll go off once Jay's done.
Yeah, Jay, keep going.
Explaining. Yeah.
I okay.
There may be disagreement here.
Yeah,
after,
that's okay.
Jay, why do you like it though?
All right, I'll talk about why I like it. So, the basic premise of the show is about this boy Sakura, who joins this school because he wants to be the strongest. He wants to fight strong people, so he can be the strongest delinquent out there. And you find out. I'm going to talk about episode 1 because I think that's fair game. You find out through the episode that he kind of comes from this background where he wasn't really accepted, and that's where he leads to, or that's where it's led to, like him kind of wanting to just fight and and why he's like this delinquent. But after joining the school, he kind of is more accepted, and the school is less of like a delinquent school and more like they go out and they help the town fight off anything that might
kind of like my high school.
Exactly. Me and Cole went out to fight the town.
We'd find old women on the street and then we'd get them.
No, I'm talking about like the delinquents that attack the town. They fight them.
No, sorry,
yes.
we'd get the people who would attack the old
bad
women.
People.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah. So I really like the like cold open to this show because like it felt very March Comes In Like a Lion. With it being, with it being like very, I don't want to say abstract, but like very artistic, I guess is the best way to put it.
Hyper stylized.
Monochromatic, black and white. The main character is being kind of
walking on
berated by other people.
Yeah.
I mean, like literally the first 30 seconds of it is very similar to the first 30 seconds of March Comes In Like a Lion. Yes, I will agree. As the resident March Comes In Like a Lion guy.
So the thing that really interests me about the show is seeing Sakura like slowly open up to people and be less like that fighting reserved person that doesn't feel accepted. I can see why someone wouldn't like it because it doesn't. I think that like some of the character writing is a little bit flat.
Yeah,
but at the same time, like I was hooked with the main character like right off the bat. So
okay.
Mm.
So before we get into why maybe some people might not like it, I've only watched the first episode, and I will say the first episode of this show did a very good job of selling it.
Incredible first episode.
It was really good.
Yeah, great first episode. Amazing.
But I haven't watched any more since then. So maybe we should, after Jay kind of said the good things about it, maybe we should, I don't know if there was somebody on this podcast right now who maybe had some
didn't
less,
like it.
Some less
it's like
positive
on their hot
things.
seat or something. Yeah. Dave.
This is in my hot seat.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it because these first 3 episodes, actually the first 4, really good. I was on board. I was invested. Now, I will say like the first little minor thing, like I don't need overly complex characters. I don't mind if you have like people who are like tropes or like tropey writing. Like that's not a problem. Problem is, kind of a spoiler is this, they just decided, oh, we're a tournament arc series now.
Yeah.
For no reason. And my problem is not that it's just like a tournament arc, but also there's been a little bit of backstory, but like these are like, if I'm talking like tropey, these are like some paper thin cardboard cutouts of characters. They have one gimmick and they have stuck to it for 6 episodes. And so episode 4 ended. I was like, please God, don't tell me this is just randomly turning into a tournament arc because one kid said so. And it's been episodes 5 and 6. I got to say, after 6 episodes, I'm dropping Windbreaker. I don't care about these characters. I don't care why they're fighting.
No longer in the hot seat.
I don't care about this tournament. It was in the hot seat, and then I watched episode 6 today. I was like, I gave up. I can't do it.
Yeah, ejecto seat.
These are characters. These guys are just
ejected.
It's just paper thin characters. Now, I'll say a caveat. Everything else about the show is really good. Fight choreography is really good. The art direction is really good. Music, like I want to like this show. I want to like this show so much. The idea of basically you have this school Bofurin who's up against this other school, and
it's a cool concept.
These Bofurin guys are all like banding together. It's a really cool concept. It's such a cool concept. Yeah. I'm thinking like you got the outsiders from like delinquent storytelling. You got these like noble guys, like they do community service. Maybe there's a gang, like where the hell is the police? There is 0 police presence. Like you could have had like all this conflict of like vigilante justice.
They are the police.
They do none of that. They do not. They are the police, but they do none of that. They just go, oh, we just have this one little asshole walks up and goes, I want to have a tournament arc. And everyone just goes, okay, 5 of our guys straight into your headquarters. Fine. Yeah, this is a good idea. So that being said, if this turns like the 2 episodes, 5 and 6, I don't know, like it's like the tournaments, it's only like 5 guys fighting. So like tournament arc is a bit of a stretch, but this is just 5 guys, 1v1s. So I would love to come back here 2, 3, or however many weeks, like before the season. You only got 13 episodes. I would love to eat some serious crow on Windbreaker. I want to be proven wrong. I want there to be something, because these are some paper thin.
Yeah.
Oh, did we lose Dave?
Ooh.
But Windbreaker, I checked out another episode of it, and I kind of don't know how far I'm going to make it into it either. It seemed interesting, but I'm curious to see where it goes from here for sure.
Yeah. No, I got the one. I'll probably check out another episode, but I don't know. Dave's I don't know, maybe not. But at the same time, Jay likes it. So.
I like it. I don't think it's like the best show of the season or anything, but like it is enjoyable. I'm interested in our main boy, Sakura.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. All right. So our next show was, I think, Cole's show.
That's correct.
And I think it's a show that 3 of us at least really enjoy.
Spoilers. I haven't even watched it. No, that's not true. That's a lie. That's a lie, and you know it.
I've been waiting for Cole hasn't watched this show.
No,
I've been not getting it this time.
I've been a good boy. I've been a good boy. I actually watched all my shows.
A good boy.
Enough beating around the bush, though. Thank you. Jellyfish Can't Swim at Night is my next show. This completes the duology of
high dive shows.
The high dive shows. And I, spoilers, am enjoying this show. It's good. It's animated well. Honestly, the direction in this show is like top tier. The way that they move the camera, the way that it's mostly the camera movement.
The way shots are composed to tell the story is also really interesting.
Yeah. It's just a well-directed show. Direction is what I'm talking about.
And I think that's the benefit of it being an anime only, because it was made for the medium that it's being produced, or that it's being told in. So
So the thing that scares me when you say anime only is a lot of the time anime only, maybe the story isn't extremely solid, but like you said, the direction can make up for that. And is that what you've experienced, Jay and Cole and Dave?
I'm enjoying this show.
Yeah.
Bigly. I'm enjoying this show. What I will say is I could see this show getting maybe a little too niche for people, getting a little too in the weeds about like video production, about songwriting, stuff like that. I like that stuff. It's interesting to me, but I could see some people not enjoying that.
At the same time, like I've seen the show being compared to A Place Further Than the Universe. And I think that show gets pretty into the weeds with like traveling to Antarctica and things like that. And like people still enjoy that. So like I don't really think it's that much of an issue. At least yet.
No. Yeah, I feel like you've brought that up a couple times that it gets too niche, but I feel like most people like when things get niche like that because you kind of learn a little bit about a world you don't necessarily know enough about.
Yeah. No. What I mean is like when you become niche, like something like this, we all are obviously interested in. But if you're not interested in the concepts that the show is like exploring, then
for sure.
you're going to be alienated. Yeah. That's all. Like,
well, I kind of disagree because when the show does go for something niche, and as a guy with a podcast all about like how kind of like anime production or like how people work, like this is something learning about the creative process is always interesting. And even if it's like, okay, maybe I'm not interested in like all the production, like you said, the technical side, this is a solid core group of girls. This is a solid cast of characters. At the end of the day, this is about a group of girls finding their creative voice. And they're not doing it alone. It's a collaborative experience. So yeah, cute girls doing cute things, you know, whatever. But that I think would be, that just transcends all other material. The character writing has also been really
top
solid.
Notch,
and it's the 7th highest rated show of the season. So I mean, it's above your number one pick, Cole, for what it's worth.
That's baloney. But I should say that like I'm splitting hairs. Like I'm enjoying the show. I like it. I completely agree with what Dave's saying. I'm just saying I could see from somebody's point of view this being too focused on some stuff that some people might not be interested in.
So all three of you continue in this one?
Oh, hell yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think time will tell.
No, I'm just trying to be like fair with my criticism. That's all.
Yeah.
I think time will tell if this becomes a show that like, oh my God, you need to get a High Dive subscription to watch this. You know, there was a lot of early hype for Jellyfish because of course Doga Kobo, they're working on Oshinoko.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of that expectation in there as well. And the presentation is very Oshinoko-like, which also honestly was a bit niche.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't say niche, but it also like got heavily in the weeds of production. So, I mean, there's your example right there. Also like Asa Akataka, but I mean, I'm splitting hairs here as well. I don't know if it's time will tell to see how far Jellyfish goes, but I mean, solid show.
Yeah.
You don't need to set the world on fire. You just need to do a solid show.
Yeah.
And I think Jellyfish is going to go far. Like art direction, camera work alone. This is a visual feast. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and Jellyfish is doing the work of 5,000 at times.
I think it's doing great, especially like with like art being an additional like concept in the show itself. It's kind of meta, you know, like it's breaking the fourth wall. No, I'm enjoying this. This will be a continuation for me. Mike, check it out, man.
Yeah.
I think
I plan to. Yeah.
Now Mike, you've got a good show here that I'm enjoying, and I'm kind of pissed off that there wasn't an episode last week.
Yeah, it took a random break here. My next show I drafted, my second draft pick here, is Go-Go Loser Ranger, or Ranger Reject, because I know people get sensitive about the title of this one. And I don't understand why it's not getting more hype, honestly. It's really good. It's really good.
It's because Disney is burying it.
That's exactly why.
Yeah. Good old Disney Plus / Hulu problem. But
we saw this happen to Tengoku. We saw this happen to Summertime Rendering. Welcome to the club. We got jackets. It's sad here. Continue, Mike. I'm sorry.
It's okay. No. You guys you're hitting the nail on the head, because it's an interesting concept of having basically like we did a manga review of this several tens of episodes ago. Yeah. And
years ago. Yeah.
And it wasn't years ago.
The dawn of time.
I don't remember what episode it was, though. I don't even remember last week. But it's an interesting concept. Jay suggested it, and it's basically the main protagonist of this is one of like the henchmen of the villains in the show.
He's a putty.
Except, yeah, he's a putty, or
he's
like,
one of
he's
the
one
dusters.
of the just nameless. Yeah, he's a duster. And essentially the thing is that all of the actual villains that are actually powerful have been defeated long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And like really these people, these dusters just put on a show fighting. They're just basically there for entertainment value, just to get blown up by the Rangers, who are like questionable people at best. These heroes, the usual heroes of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool to see like a subversion of the genre kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really enjoying it. It's animated really well too,
Yes.
which also helps.
Oh, they got the Yostar money.
Yeah, Yostar Pictures Studio definitely went in on this one, and it's I don't know, it's directed really well. I don't know what there's not to like.
You know what?
It's interesting.
I say this all the time about Go-Go Loser Ranger, but the fact that like it's a story by the creator of Quintessential Quintuplets, and it's such a different
Is it?
story.
I know, right?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Is it really?
Yeah,
it is.
Yes.
He
finished Quint. He finished Quint Quintuplets, and then he went and did a Super Sentai just stark twist.
Yeah.
And this is also the direction is solid because it's directed by the guy who did Tiger and Bunny.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Yeah.
This
solid show.
This show's absurd. Like you mentioned the Yostar, the Yostar Pictures thing. Like they are punching above their weight class, big time. Yeah. Like this show is fantastic.
We talked about like good OPs earlier on.
Oh yeah,
this is
I think this is the best.
This is the best.
This is my personal favorite.
Yeah. This is
my
for
personal
sure
favorite.
in contention. Yeah. This OP is. Yeah. First of all, the song is.
Mm-hmm.
I love this song.
It's so good.
It does such cool things with like the children, the children singing part of the verse. It's so goddamn good. I love it.
I love the lyrics to the song too. Like I went to like read the lyrics just to see like, because like I always, whenever I like a song from an anime, I always go to see like what the lyrics are, why it was incorporated into the show.
Yeah.
And like it's
so
such
good.
an interesting song from a written standpoint.
And then never mind.
Have you seen the music video?
Yes,
I haven't seen the music video, but
you should watch the music video. It's a treat.
It is really good. Yeah,
I'll check it out. But what I was gonna say is like moving on from the music side of the OP, like the visuals of it are also just
so good.
Like, this OP is good, and the ED is good too.
The ED is really good.
Is good.
Cole's having a mental breakdown.
Cole's losing it. I think we've praised this one enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can move on.
I think if there's anything,
I'm not watching any more of this show. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm dropping it actually. Yeah.
I think there's anything that can be taken away from our discussion of this show is go watch it. I know it's Disney Plus, but like, and that's a weird thing I thought about. Like I feel like more people should be watching Disney Plus stuff because like it's
all good.
Well,
it's
like Disney Plus is a more normie subscription thing than Crunchyroll. Mm-hmm. So like you'd think that like more of the average person would have Disney Plus than Crunchyroll.
Disney Plus doesn't advertise this. I don't know how Hulu does, but Disney Plus doesn't advertise it very well.
They don't advertise it. That's true, but like I think like just if you like anime and you're just like scrolling through like, oh, is there any anime on Disney Plus?
Like,
it's
just
hard
as
to
a quick.
It's on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's on Disney Plus outside the U.S.
True.
But if you're in the U.S., then it's specifically Hulu, so it's in there with the rest. Yeah. But if you're getting a Disney Plus subscription, you're not getting it for anime, and they're not advertising it at all. They're only advertising Disney Plus anime, like specifically Japan.
Yeah.
So it does suck, and Hulu doesn't advertise that they have anime either. But like I said, Disney surprisingly good catalog over there.
Yeah.
So if there's any reason to at least get a free trial, like even at the end of this season, if you're like, screw Hulu, I don't care, get a free trial on Hulu, do the thing and watch Loser Ranger. Like seriously, this is a show that's like this is an anime for like this is a streaming service staple.
Yeah.
If you're
watch
gonna be
that
an anime
one
platform.
and watch
Jellyfish Can't Swim at Night.
No, the other one that came out a few seasons ago.
Heavenly Delusion, Summertime Summertime Rendering. Sandland's on there. That's the last thing by Akira Toriyama.
Bleach.
Sandland's also really fun. Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood War.
Yeah. So
many other ones, like some old Funimation things as well. But yeah, I'm not going to elaborate. We need to move on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Disney Plus has The Simpsons. Come on.
Jay.
Get real.
What's your next show, Jay?
Anyway, next show is a show that I am very surprised by. And that is Train to the End of the World. And I'm not sure if I'm surprised about it for a good reason or a bad reason or somewhere in between, but it's not what I expected it to be. I think that's just the way that everybody's summing up this show.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anyone expected this show.
No, like I thought it was going to be good from the trailer, but I didn't know what it was going to be from what I had watched.
Okay.
And it's very wacky, very wild. I kind of don't want to talk too much about it because that like weirdness factor is kind of part of the enjoyment.
Yeah, its recommendations are definitely in the this is a very interesting and unique anime tiers, where we got Girls Last Tour, Heavenly Delusion, which we were just talking about, and Sunny Boy, which are all very like, you're not recommending that to someone as their first anime, and I'm assuming that's the case with this one as well.
This is, it is. The dialogue is also very fast, so it's not something that you can really put on the background either way. Like the puns are coming in thick and fast.
Tough reading.
And there's, I'll just say this, it's a comedy. Primarily it's a comedy.
Yeah.
You'll have some weird supernatural stuff happening, but that's all I'm going to say. It's the kind of show that is really hard to talk about because one, it's how the hell do you summarize anything that happens in this series? It's kind of the show. I almost kind of think of it like an anime water cooler moment of just, can you believe that they did this? And that's kind of what's happening over. If you look at anything on social media, like in Threads and other places like Instagram, it's a very gifable, it's a very memeable show because this is a great thing to show to your friends just out of context. Like, look at the crazy stuff that happened in Train. So that's all I'm going to say for like it just you just have to do a blind recommendation. So yes, it's a very surprising one, but yeah.
I've only watched the first episode of this one for some I don't mean for some reason. I know exactly why I haven't continued. It's because this season is OP.
Jam-packed.
But based on the first episode, like I would say that this show is like a combination between A Place Further Than the Universe meets Kyoso Giga. Like it's very like,
wow. Yeah. That's a shout out.
It's very like weird, but also like, it's a journey. Like it's a journey show, but it's very like
strange.
Kyoso Giga. Underrated, great show. That would be what I would say. Like if you like something like Kyoso Giga or A Place Further in the Universe, basically, if you're me, you'd probably like this show.
And do you like the show, Cole?
I did like the show. It's just like I said, it's one of those ones where I haven't had a chance to really like get it in my rotation. I'll probably binge it at the end of the season.
And I also really like the OP for this one.
Oh, it's so nice. It did. I will go with Cole. It took me a while. Like after the first episode, it took me a couple of weeks to actually continue with it. And I'm still behind.
That's the type of show it is. Yeah. We're just kind of, maybe you binge it at the end of the season.
Yeah. One of those narratives.
Just kind of check it out at the end or keep up with it. It's, I don't know. It feels it's relatively self-contained for now. Every episode, there's kind of a general through line, but it's, You nailed it right there, Mike.
Okay. As someone who hasn't watched a single episode, I'm glad I did. Jay, are you going to continue this one?
Yeah, I'm going to continue it.
You're going to probably finish it out.
Yeah.
This one's Crunchyroll, right?
This one's on Crunchyroll, yes. Most of the shows this season are on Crunchyroll. You get like the odd Disney Plus and then the two that are on High Dive, but most of them are Crunchyroll this season.
Yeah. My penultimate show here is Sound Euphonium Season 3, The GOAT. It returns. It's the best sports anime that isn't about sports at all. I love it. Kumiko, best girl forever. After my heart.
I have good news for you about this show.
Yeah. Yes.
This is the highest rated show of spring 2024.
As it should be.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's KyoAni.
It's KyoAni. They're back. They're back, baby. And I mean, Sound Euphonium, it's one of their peak shows.
Yeah,
flagship shows.
It's almost like one of their tentpole series now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I mean,
we're back too.
Yeah, we're getting
back.
We're getting the wrap up of the whole series. You know, we've gone through all 3 years of high school with Kumiko and Co. And now we want to see, will they finally achieve their goals? Kumiko and Co.
Kumi and Co.
Kumi and Co. No, it's good. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
I would say catch up on this show. Go watch all of the movies. We talked about one movie earlier, Liz and the Bluebird. That's a Sound Euphonium spinoff. A lot of people don't realize that until you actually watch it. It's great. It's so good. It's so good. It may be my favorite show of the season so far, even though it's my second pick. But I love everything about Sound Euphonium. Everything.
Yeah. No, it's a very good show.
Mike, name a thing. I love it. It's great.
Wow. Okay. That's good. That's good. So you're obviously continuing this one.
No, I'm going to drop it. I'm done.
You should.
Yeah. Yeah. Is anyone else watching it other than me just gushing about it completely?
I'm literally like on the cusp of starting it because like I'm literally the only thing of Sound Euphonium I haven't seen is season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there you go.
I need to.
You might as well.
Yeah.
You watched some Daily Live season 5. What are you doing watching that instead of Sound Euphonium?
You know why I watched Daily Live season 5? Because I was like, you know what? I have nothing to watch on Friday.
You know what? I love Daily Live, is what Jay said.
I don't even like Daily Live.
I love it. I love it. It's so good. No, you need to. If you're on the fence about watching it, if you've already watched the first 2 seasons of it, Sound Euphonium season 3.
Yeah. And the only reason I haven't watched it is because I'd have to watch 2 seasons and multiple movies, I think. To get to this point.
I'd have to do the same. I've always seen Sound Euphonium from afar. And I was like, that looks really nice.
It's daunting. It's a daunting task.
Mm-hmm. You just need to watch the first 2 seasons and the Sound Euphonium movie. It's not bad.
But that's a lot of anime.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of
so much time.
And then you got to sell your soul to the devil.
But you know what you got to do to get to peak? You got to climb to get to the peak, Cole. That's work.
I'm busy. I can do enough work.
Hey, Cole, this shows a gondola. The One Piece complaint.
This show's a gondola. It's pulling you up there. You don't even got to climb. It's doing the work for you. You just got to sit back and enjoy the ride.
Excellent point, Jay.
Hey, Cole.
Come on. That was a great metaphor I just did. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, but the same could be said for One Piece, Cole.
No. One Piece of
quiet from the peanut gallery.
Hey, peanut gallery, shut your traps, because I'm talking about one of the best shows of this season, Konosuba season 3.
It's kind of goated.
The madness continues.
Yeah,
Konosuba is goated. It's probably the funniest anime, honestly. It's like straight up.
Yeah.
It's
what a response.
Ridiculous because it's like everything I've watched of Konosuba, it's all the same. It's all equal in power.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I watched Legend of Crimson to watch this as well. That movie's hilarious. I wish I saw it in theaters with you guys. I was getting so much FOMO watching it, and I don't know. It's just more Konosuba. They all just do ridiculous things. This season is great too.
Now, question though, Mike, would you recommend that people watch the first 2 seasons of Konosuba and the movie in order to watch season 3 of Konosuba?
It comes right back around.
How the turns have tabled.
Oh, he got me. He got me. Yes, I would because you know what? You actually save but choose this over Sound Euphonium. Sound Euphonium is way longer and way harder to watch because it's 13 episodes per season, whereas Konosuba is only 10. 10 episodes you got to watch. 20 episodes in a movie.
Mike really likes antagonizing people.
It's my role, baby. It's my role.
Well, you know what? Konosuba sucks and Mike is wrong.
You don't believe that for a second.
You don't know that. I always say that things are shit when you think that they're good.
He does.
It's true.
It's his thing.
It's my thing.
As soon as they're popular,
so you're just a contrarian.
Jay is the contrarian. It's true. It's true. Dave, I know you said you hadn't checked out Konosuba. Do you feel any? I know you were expressed an antagonistic feeling towards isekai in general, but you said this one might be the exception for you. Do you think
there's always for every genre, for every rule, there's always an exception, and so Konosuba is one that I've looked at for a while. So yeah, I definitely kind of want to jump on the Konosuba train.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the one thing I want to point out. The one thing, it's a great train to the end of the world. This one,
yeah.
The one thing I want to point
out
to
another world.
There you go. I feel like the change from Dean to Drive though is interesting because I've noticed that there is, you definitely notice the difference is maybe what I'd say. Like there's the physical comedy is different than it used to be. There's less off model stuff and it's less wonky, which is technically a good thing, but I kind of miss it a little bit. I miss a little bit of the Dean-ness.
Yes and no. I mean, like you and me and Jay and Dave, like we're professional anime watchers, so we notice stuff like this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wanted to say some negative stuff a little bit.
Yeah. I don't think the layman, like if somebody was just casually watching anime, I don't think that they would notice, to be honest. What I do want to point out about this show, Konosuba is great. I love Konosuba. It's funny. It needed to come back to remind me how funny Konosuba is. Mm-hmm. I'm also liking the like subtle little like romance aspects of it a little bit. Like
it's kind of getting there, yeah.
The characters are kind of getting a little bit closer. They're concerned about Kazuma's well-being, which as
they should be. They've been together for a while now.
They've been together for a while, but I mean, like, in a world like this, that means that there's some, underlying feelings.
I do want to say this about. So at the beginning of the season, I said I wasn't sure if I'd be able to like it after the Megumin show, and we kind of talked about how Megumin wasn't really able to hold her own.
Yeah,
I disagree, but yeah.
Kazuma kind of was able to do that when he was with the princess. Like the other three weren't there, and I enjoyed it as much as I did like the other
because the
seasons.
princesses and her stand-ins there are basically just stand-ins for the like Aqua and Megumin and stuff.
Yeah,
I'd say.
I mean the other thing too is Kazuma is the main character.
Yeah,
so. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If anyone can hold their own, I would hope
it's the main character.
Kazuma can. Yeah.
And I will for sure continue this to completion for sure. 100%.
Me too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Jay?
Yeah.
What else? What are you going to finish to completion?
So my first draft pick was Kaiju number 8 by Production IG. And on a production side, it's very good.
No. What's the other studio? What's the other studio that does it?
Oh, the Hideaki Anno studio.
That's correct. Yeah.
Kafka.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. I love it. I love that they're like getting into TV anime. It's great.
Yeah. But yeah, on a production side, the show's great.
That's so good.
They very clearly had a lot of resources to work with on this show because like it looks very, I don't want to say expensive.
It does though. No,
but
honestly,
like it looks like their budget
clean
is
what it does. It looks it looks very clean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a scene I just watched recently where like the Twin Tails girl there's like running around shooting kaiju, and it's like holy god dang, that looks good.
Oh, you mean Best Girl?
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's Best Girl. I don't know what Jay's talking about with the Mina stuff. Get out of here. I mean, speaking of budget, I mean, they hired like who's doing the ED? One Republic.
One Republic.
They got One Republic and
Youngblood's doing the OP. Yeah. Like that's no shot against Japanese artists, but like they're probably charging more than a Japanese artist is, I would assume.
Well, it's an international artist, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
They're off the bat. Like I would assume that they're putting more budget into just the song licensing for the OP and the ED.
Mm-hmm.
Let alone the animation.
Well, I think this is an apt time for Cole and I to fight because we
rip.
kind of
Right,
alluded
let's
to it
go.
earlier.
Mhm.
And we kind of are at a disagreement about whether or not the OP is good.
Now, is the OP good, Michael?
I'd say so. I don't think it's the best OP, but it's good, I'd say.
Is the OP good, Dave?
I'm not a fan of it, but it's more of a stylistic approach. I'm not really a fan of the whole abstract kaleidoscope kind of anime opening thing.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I think it's good in its own way. It's growing on me. I'll just say that.
All right. Okay. So I'm coming at it from
I skip it every time though.
I'm beaten into the corner here by you three. I love this OP. I think it's an absolute work of art. I think it's technically just incredible. I love the kaleidoscope stuff too. I love when anime do something different in the OP rather than just like taking shots from the show.
It's
I also
unique. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah. I also think like the title card at the end of the OP is just
that is cool.
Awesome.
Like I like the back half of the OP for sure.
Like the title card like ending on like the first volume cover. That's so cool. The first volume of the manga. And I mean the song just is
Song's
sweet.
good.
I really like the song. Yeah.
I understand what they're trying to go for, because like they're trying to go for like that classic, like, well, maybe not classic, but like that kaiju movie feel. Or maybe like even like James Bond or whatever have you. Of like Dave said, that kaleidoscope feel that you see in those Western films. Or like a kaiju film. But like in terms of like trying to get you intrigued by the show and into it, it doesn't really do that for me.
And
it
does for me. It gets me hyped.
It's interesting. It's like I said, it's unique, and I think it just comes down to your personal preference for sure.
It's
on this
it's unique, but it feels more like a I guess more of like a Western OP than an anime OP.
What about the actual show itself, though?
I wanted to talk about one of my things with the show. Like this is definitely a Jump Plus title, all right.
I was kind of beating around the bush. I love the humor.
I love the humor. I was not expecting, so I went into this completely blind. I knew the manga was popular, but then I also heard like the manga was starting to fall off. So I was like, okay, what's the thing here? But all that being said, when I first started, I was like, okay, interesting power set. But yeah, this show was funny.
Yeah.
So it was very funny.
Yeah, it's very humorous.
In the first episode or second episode there where he's running.
Second episode was great.
He's like, I gotta pee. And they're like, I don't know how that happens. And he's like, I don't either. And then it got me good.
I can't be a bride anymore.
Yeah.
But my thing is production value has been great.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. I see, okay, how are we going to introduce this world? We're going to do an exam arc.
Yeah.
Yay.
Felt very minor.
I just feel like this sense of fatigue just immediately wash over me as soon as it's like, oh, we're doing an exam arc, and we're going to put on a bunch of suits, and we're going to make it a needlessly dangerous exam. With obviously, I'm not going to say what happens, but I mean, obviously, we're going to introduce all this technology. Like, in what way does this make sense to like whatever? It's an exam arc. But I'm ready for this to be done.
Yeah.
Let's just get into the freaking squad already. It's 4 or 5 episodes. Like, get in the damn squad and let's get going.
I feel like you've kind of hit the nail on the head there, Dave. Like, the show does get there, but at this point, it's kind of taking a little bit to start up. And you brought up an interesting point about the exam arc. I'm curious if this is just a lot of Jump mangaka taking inspiration from Hunter x Hunter and running with that. Because that also started with an exam arc.
See, I thought this one was
more... It did start with an exam arc, but it's more... It's kind of like being I have a little insider deal. It's kind of almost like borderline mandated, or like, oh, this really popular manga did exam arcs, so we're all going to do exam arcs. Like My Hero Academia did an exam arc.
That's the one.
So it's kind of like
My Hero. Yeah.
It just feels like this opening bit, like Kaiju number 8 is just playing the jump meta.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for cutting you off, Mike.
No, it's okay. I was just going to basically add on to what you said. Is it just I couldn't help but watch this and keep thinking like, oh, that just feels like they just took that from My Hero season 1. Oh, that because like they have the basically the exam arc, and then also it's going into the backstory of one of the characters, and they have like this wealthy and powerful dad who's like kind of abusive towards them. And I was just like, oh, that's this show's Shoto Todoroki.
Yeah.
It's just like, it just felt like you said, an amalgamation of all the things that work in Shonen Jump, sort of.
It does a lot of things fairly generically. I agree.
But it's good. It's still good, I think.
But the production value of the show, I think, is enough. Like, I think it's enough of the production value. The production value is high enough that it's keeping me intrigued just from that standpoint.
Right.
Yeah. The animation's really good. It's very pretty. My lizard brain is going ooga booga. Wow, incredible.
And like
he punched really
too.
Hard.
The comedy lands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kaiju number 8 punch hard. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'll continue.
Crunchyroll certainly wants this to be the number 1 anime of the season with how hard they're promoting it.
Yeah.
I do not think it is anywhere close to that, but I am looking forward to see how it develops and where they're going to go with this world, because I've seen a very Ultraman like looking villain. This guy looks ripped straight out of Ultraman.
Yeah, I could see this being the most popular anime of the season.
It's got broad appeal.
Yeah, like if somebody was like, "Hey, what anime?"
Manga or a Jump Plus manga.
If somebody asked me, "Hey, what anime should I watch this season?" I've never watched anime before. I would say Go Go Loser Ranger, but then I would say Kaiju number 8 would probably be a close second.
It's
I
kind
would
of
say this
intro.
over Go Go personally, just because I think with Go Go you kind of need to be a bit more of an anime fan to get some of the stuff, whereas this is just like straight up, like you could just be like, oh, it's like Godzilla, you know?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, Go Go Loser Ranger. You could say the same thing. Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Power Rangers.
It's kind of interesting. They promoted the show being on Twitter or X, I guess. Have any of you like seen anything like of it being on there or anything?
I don't.
Premiered the first episode. I actually was able to. I don't have X, but it was just able to watch the link as it was going. It was not the comments were hilarious. But or like the live broadcast was an absolute dumpster fire. But the
sounds like
the video quality itself, for what it was, like for all the L's that X takes, and rightly so. Kaiju number 8 I didn't hear about the premiere being bad or anything. It looked fine to me. I watched like the first 2 episodes.
I haven't heard much about its X premiere, and like I think Crunchyroll or whoever kind of like softly promoted it, but it's kind of more being shown as a Crunchyroll show than X.
Yeah.
Oh, Crunchyroll.
I think it was I think it was only the first episode. I think it was only the first episode on X.
Oh,
okay. But again, I'm watching it on Crunchyroll. But I think the big deal was we were premiering the show on X, and then the rest will be on Crunchyroll. So it was like a big cross promotion thing. So as I heard, like that one, it apparently went well. But again, honestly, I don't care. I watched like 2 minutes and I went, it's not. It's functioning. And then I left.
I haven't really.
And then I watched the first episode on Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I know. I
Crunchyroll's really advertising.
But yeah. Speaking of shows that are pretty good.
Jay, you're continuing this one?
Hold up.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to clarify.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess as the one who read the manga, I should talk about that before we move on, just real quick.
Mm-hmm.
As in terms of like the adaptation, it's pretty good.
It seems like it's amplifying the original. From I read the first volume, and that's all you can ask for. Is that it takes the original and makes it better.
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah, I agree.
Speaking of,
from what I've read.
Speaking of shows
making the original better,
kind of made the original better.
It's Spice and Wolf Brotherhood.
Let's
Spice
go.
and Wolf Merchant meets the Wise Wolf. It's a reimagined. Yes. It's a modernization of Spice and Wolf. You know it. You love it. We all love Holo here. All of us. All 3 of us. All 4 of us today.
Yeah. Nice Shone project. Yeah.
It's good. I'm enjoying it. You guys know my love of Holo. You guys know my love of Spice and Wolf.
It is well documented on this podcast, your love of that wolf-like woman. Yep.
That wolf-like woman. Wolf-like woman.
If someone doesn't know anything about Spice and Wolf, which is unlikely because they've made it to 2.5 hours of this anime podcast.
We also did a watch party of this. So
we did a watch party and we did a review of the original Spice and Wolf. So
yes,
well versed.
Oh, you guys did that too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Now,
awesome.
So I'm enjoying.
Right?
Sorry, it's my. I was going for the DVD, so it's in another cabinet.
Oh, well, I can show this as a copy.
There you go. You got the light. You got the manga.
Light novel.
I've thought about collecting the manga.
Well, how about I show you this?
Oh, that's the novel.
Yeah. Yes.
I got a little Holo. I got a little Holo figure over here, but who's counting? I'm obviously enjoying this show.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, goes without saying. Now, Mike and Jay and Dave, are you guys watching this?
Yes.
And all three of you have watched the original.
Yes.
Okay.
Only the first season of the original.
Okay. How would you say that this compares? I know Mike specifically had some
concerns.
Less than concerns. Let's say concerns about the
Essentially,
original.
just
I think I might be with Mike as well.
To summarize, I basically said that the original was just dated. That's about it.
Yeah. Would you say that this was a welcome update to?
So the other thing I want to point out is that I've actually since watching the first and starting this show, I've listened to the light novel or the novel. Is it a light novel?
It's a light
I don't
novel.
know. Whatever.
It's a light novel.
Okay, light novel.
Yeah, it's a light novel.
I've listened to the first light novel and about halfway through the second one. And your comparison of like Spice and Wolf Brotherhood is really apt because this basically follows the novel 1-to-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is
much more
I feel
closely. Yeah,
both the improved animation, better character designs, which are still kind of like the original, which is nice, and just overall, this is just a much better version of the original Spice and Wolf, and it's just much better. It's the only way to put it. Yeah. Really, do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think like the best way to put this is if you like the original, you'll probably get a lot of enjoyment out of this new one.
Yeah. The original, of course, still holds like a special place in my heart, but there's charm to it. My concern with something like this, with a remake like this, is does it make the original Spice and Wolf adaptation obsolete?
I would argue yes.
Not yet.
Okay.
Because I'll say right now, Takeo Takahashi, with him being the original director, right now if we're talking the Brotherhood territory, it still feels like he is. I thought he would be like kind of accelerating the storyline, but right now, I recently watched the original series like back in December, January, did an episode on it, or like the first season. And right now, his episodes, and it's like he's broken out his storyboards from 2008 and went, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to change a couple of little things. I'm going to add a little flair here. We have more money, and Kazuya Kuroda is not designing the characters, so we can actually make them look like the light novels now. That's the biggest change so far, because honestly, the pacing right now, 6 episodes in, it's almost a 1-to-1. Episode 6 of the original series is basically where we are right now in Merchant. What I'm waiting to see is I'm just waiting to see something like different. I'm waiting to see like the split, because they didn't split in the original series. They just stopped because there was no more book to adapt. Now they get the whole series in front of them. And so what I suspect is, instead of accelerating the story, I think what we're going to see is this may end in a similar place that the original series ended, maybe a bit forward.
Yeah.
I think it will. If he keeps up this exact pacing, this 1-to-1 pacing, fine.
Yeah. And they've said
this is going to be something like, there better be a season 2.
They said we're going to get 25 episodes of this season. So
25 episodes.
That's 2 seasons of the original. So it's going to end in the same spot.
Yeah, I would like it to continue.
If it does, I want to see more seasons.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it will. I'm positive it will.
You know what?
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to get too lost
in the weeds. We just got
to
get that announcement.
Yeah, I don't want to get too lost in the weeds, because we gotta we're getting pretty long here, but
long in the wolf tooth.
The way the show starts with a subtle, well, not very subtle, but a homage to a character that comes up much further in the storyline. Mm-hmm. I think the plan with Spice and Wolf Merchant Meets the Wise Wolf is to adapt the whole story.
So that's why I agree 100%.
I do think that they'll have the seasons going forward. That's the plan anyway. We'll see.
They're going to adapt the whole low thing.
Let's just wait for the season 2 announcement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I think I took psychic damage from that.
Yeah.
Continuing.
I'm continuing. Yeah, of course. Of course, I'm continuing.
We're all continuing. I think
we're getting into the arc that I get nervous about watching, even though I know what happens, just because it makes me nervous. Anyway, that was the episode. Thanks. Bye.
I am curious if this will lead into a Wolf and Parchment.
I wonder as well.
Potentially,
considering how they introduce at the beginning.
Yeah, I would wait to see how the whole show plays out, and if it does very well, then possibly. Yeah.
I would not be very surprised, but I would be very delighted.
We'll see. Dave, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
me too. 100%. Yeah.
Before we end things off, before we end things off, we do have a little seasonal tradition here, where we go over our new season pick and our continuing anime pick. So what we're going to ask from you is, what is your prediction for best new anime of the season and best continuing anime? Continuing would either be a new sequel season or an anime that has continued on from the previous season.
We should specify, though, we did select Spice and Wolf to be a new anime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's a remake.
It's a reboot. Yeah.
So while you think on that, Cole, sorry, I just said my own name. I read the teleprompter, man. I picked Train to the End of the World. Cole picked Kaiju number 8, and Jay picked Spice and Wolf. Do we still agree with those as our new anime picks?
Yeah, we can't change them now anyway.
Yeah, I know, but do you still agree with your pick?
Yeah, no, I still think Kaiju 8 will be good with the kids and whatnot. I feel like it.
Cole stole my picks, so.
That's the tragedy of it. I think I'd probably switch mine to Go Loser Ranger if I could, but too late for that.
Yeah.
Dave, do you have a new anime pick?
For me, Go Loser Ranger is really doing
spot.
It's doing work. I am, of course, most anticipating Spice and Wolf, but Loser Ranger was and is a very pleasant surprise. I am like shivering in anticipation for each new episode. Shiver me timbers.
Shivers his timbers.
But I do have a Hulu subscription, so not exactly shiver me timbers just yet.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go.
You want to read out the continuing or the?
Sure. So for our continuing anime picks, Cole, you had Mushoku Tensei Season 2 Part 2. Mike, you chose Demon Slayer, and I went with Konosuba Season 3.
Maybe. So the obvious elephant in the room is Demon Slayer still hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Probably will still end up though, honestly.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
It's Demon Slayer.
We'll see.
What about you, Dave? What would be your like non-new anime of the season?
Well, by default, the only one I'm really continuing with is Dungeon Meshi, but
I guess so.
In all honesty, it is starting to really hit. Yeah, but kind of by default, but that's the only one that I am continuing. But it is really, I'm enjoying this second part a lot more. I'm a lot more engaged than I was at the start, and I am engaged with the mystery. I'm interested, so I do think I don't think it's going to be the number one continuing series, but it's certainly making the rounds within my social circle, early immediate circle. So it's doing pretty well. I'm enjoying it.
There's a lot to like there for sure.
Yeah. And I don't think I would change mine.
No?
I feel Mushoku Tensei is still
Again, Cole
really
stole mine.
good. Yeah.
I think I might make mine Konosuba, but again, Jay stole mine.
Well,
yeah. Whatever.
Well, I mean, sucks to suck. I am the winner.
That's
and
right.
I will be the winner.
Do you know who's the real winner of this episode?
The listeners.
The listeners and us for having Dave on.
Yes. Thank you very much for coming on, Dave.
Oh, thank you. I'm
Yes.
flattered. Thank you for having me.
Now,
This was a fun episode.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Glad you had fun.
Yeah, Dave, do you of course, plug away, please plug your podcast, plug your social medias.
All right, so here goes, people. I am Dave. I am the creator and host of the Treehouse Anime Club Podcast. So I talk about anime production and the people who work in the industry. So all the fine folks who make all the cartoons that you love. You can follow me on Instagram and Threads at Treehouse Anime Pod. That's all one word. I am available on all major platforms and all the ones that you don't know about as well. You know, we're all Google bona fide and all that. So you can find me from wherever you're listening from. My next episode is actually coming up. Probably you said this episode, AniPro, is launching in a week from this recording, what, like the 17th?
This one will come out on the
19th.
19th? Okay. So on May 15th, I believe, I kind of broke character here. Yes, on May 15th is my new episode. I'm going to talk about I'm celebrating roughly the 25th anniversary and subsequently talking about the production story of a mecha series called The Big O. And I'll be joined the next week by a friend of mine who is a comic book reviewer, and they like Batman. They don't watch a lot of anime, so I said, hey, do you want to watch a series about anime Bruce Wayne with a giant robot? So that is my upcoming episode, The Big O. So if that is interested, you can check me out there.
You've also recently did your 1 year celebration too. That's pretty exciting. Congrats.
I did. It was it's an interesting milestone to be sure. You always start a project and I didn't know how far I was going to take this. I suspected I was probably going to finish a year, but it's still one of those, you set a benchmark, and then when you actually arrive at the benchmark, you still kind of look back and go, how did I get here?
Yeah.
Yep.
But
yep.
I am...
We hear you. We hear you.
It's been one heck of a journey to be sure, and I am loaded up for this year, and I've pretty much got most of my 2025 lined out as well. So I am gearing up for another year, and so if learning about anime and anime production stories with a little bit of review at the end, I'm not exactly a review podcast, but if that sounds interesting, check me out. Thanks again, guys, for having me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on. I will say Dave is a braver man than any of us, being a solo podcaster. I need you two here to bounce off of. I'm nowhere near interesting enough to have a solo podcast. And frankly, neither are you two.
You're correct. We're not
especially
as good as
mean.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you for listening to another episode of AniPro. If you liked it, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend about us. If you really like us, please consider supporting us on Patreon like these lovely people. Mr. Family Guy 36, Elijah Wood, Brain Dead B-Dog, JJK was the best anime of 2023. Peach, Frama, Kratos, Just Juz, Mog, Free Ren's Feet, and Antonio Bustos. By supporting us on Patreon, you get access to all sorts of perks, and it really helps out the show. We're also on social media at AniProPod, and please join our Discord community to keep up with us and other listeners. Links to everything is in the description or at our website, AniProPod.com. Dave, I'm going to throw it to you. I want you to say 2 words. It's just a repetition of 1 word, actually, to be honest. You just have to say bye-bye. Can you say bye-bye? Can you say bye-bye to our listeners?
Bye-bye, listeners.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.